Hello everyone. Guess what? Made it in time today. That should be the norm, obviously. Like I shouldn't be late any day, but you gotta take those small victories. Still, I'm not actually like on time. I actually forgot to do today's image post, so I'm going to have to do that before the game. So wait just a moment while I comment on things here. So how have you guys been? Did anything interesting happen? I know that it's been a while since we played this game. Actually, if the saves are anything to go by, we kinda play this game monthly. Uh, Instead of weekly as we should, but details, you know? Today, I'm going to try to focus. Obviously, we're still going to be like, how do I say this? Obviously, we're still going to be talking about various topics. We're still going to be discussing a couple of things that I have to like talk about. But I think, especially given how do I say this? How rare it is for us to play this game. I actually do want to get through a bit of it, through quite a bit of the story today. Like, I want to advance as much as possible, essentially. So as soon as I'm done with the post here, we're going to get into it. And yeah, in the interest of being able to advance faster as well, especially since I'm going to need to really develop this skill this time, I'm going to try to only address the comments that I can see. Like, we're going to do that thing again where like I don't necessarily keep up with the comments. Instead of just addressing them like a normal streamer would do, and focusing more on the game for the most part and on certain topics occasionally. So yeah, this should still be fun. So hopefully we have a good stream today, and we don't have many like problems with the internet and stuff like that. That's how you say that, right? Yeah, that's how you say it. If you're wondering why I'm not like responding to comments right now, is because, like I said, I only have one monitor, right? So I can't see necessarily the comments while I'm making these posts. So I'm going to, so you guys gonna need to wait a bit until I'm done so I can address you all. Let's see, I think we can raise this a bit. And perfect. Actually, there's a question that I can ask right now as we're doing this, which is that I don't generally post like cosplay pictures in the like community tab and whatever, but I've been getting really interested in it. Like I've been following a bunch of cosplayers. I've seen some really cool Blue Archive cosplayers, so I'm wondering, like, obviously it's not going to replace the image posts, but would you like to see more cosplays? Like, would you like to see more cosplay pictures, or should that continue like being a thing once in a blue moon? What do you think? Okay. Let's post this here. Fix this. Perfect. Then we close this. And we continue here. Like this. This will remain here. And okay, I can properly like address you guys. Welcome Arma, welcome Yankee, welcome both of you to the stream, welcome Monoball, and just as a reminder, like that today, well, today, from now on, we actually have channel emotes available for the members. So like anyone who is like has a channel membership can use some of my emotes, some of my channel emotes, and how do I say it? Oh yeah, and in the description you can find the artist responsible for the emote, Sumika, and follow them. I really recommend you do so. He's a really great artist. But anyway, yes, you can find the emotes. Like since you're a member, you can. Okay, you found them. Okay. Anyway, hey, hello, hola. If you are at a lack of words, use telepathy. I know I use telepathy to understand. Tynard supposed it so. They both look good. Just read what was on screen. Takumi is just describing schizophrenia. I wonder who drew them. I already said. So yeah, seems like most people either don't care or think that they're both good. So I'll continue like posting mostly art, and then like once in a while throwing in a cosplay or two. So yeah, let's now finally get into the game. Wonderful. I think I have the power to project my delusions into reality. I was far from certain myself, but I decided to share with Remy the possibility that I've been thinking about. And I think that's why Shogun's after me. There was no other reason for him to be coming after me, at least. There weren't many people out there as harmless as me. Most otaku are harmless, they're stuck in their own little worlds. They had time to spend bothering people in the 3D world, they rather spend it having fun in their minds with 2D girls. That's somewhat true. Gonna put a pin on that one. You mean the patent you were looking at yesterday? Do you have a device that can do that stuff? I shook my head. That's not it. I think I might be able to use that power without the device. Taku, you're joking, right? Oh, I get it. This is from some manga or anime, right? Rimi didn't believe me after all. But I had at least some reason to think it was true. That bus accident when I was in elementary school. I explained that to her too. I might be a murderer. I worried that telling Rimi might make her want to stay away from me. I just couldn't keep it in anymore. I needed to share it with someone and get it off my chest. Rimi seemed lost in thought as she listened to me stammer out an explanation, and when I was done, "You're overthinking things." She just laughed it away. "It's just a delusion you're having. Do you understand that?" Is I really overthinking it? I hope so. Takumi feels so horrible. I think whoever wrote him has to relate to him because this is a loser only a loser could understand. I don't know if I agree to that. Like, I get where you're coming from and what you're talking about, but I really don't think you need to be someone like Takumi necessarily to understand and write someone like Takumi. But that's my view. But the weird feeling in the bottom of my heart just didn't go away. The office smelled like dust. It was on the second floor of an aging mixed-use building. Light poured in from the huge window in the back that covered the whole wall, making the dust in the air look like powder snow. The letters on the window that read Trustworthiness Investigation Company Phrygia cast shadows on the desks beneath it. There were 20 desks in all, tightly crammed together. They were all piled high with folders and papers, in a way you might expect to see in a publishing office. Most of the desk occupants were out, with only 5 or 6 people there. The reason wasn't because it was a Saturday. There was a schedule on the whiteboard next to the entrance. It was packed tight with writing. Yasuji-ban opened the agency's door right at the end of lunch break. He'd walked in without knocking, but none of the people there said a word. He gave them a friendly "Hey there" as he headed straight for the desk further in the back, where a heavy-set woman was sitting at her laptop. "Hey Momo, how are you doing?" The woman he called Momo was Katsuko Momose, the president of Phrygia. She had an annoyed look on her face and refused to even look up. "Ban, you're back?" "I am indeed. Got anything new on Newgen?" "Sheesh, I'm a busy woman, you know that? I got a lot of other jobs to do." "Small companies like us are so busy we have to work on weekends, you understand that?" Only then did she look up at him. When she saw the grin on his face, she put her hand up to her forehead and shook her head slightly. "We're not some kind of secret organization or subsidiary of the police, you know. You're probably hoping you can get some information for free, but if you got time to come here, you got time to find out the facts for your own damn self. Stop wasting taxpayer money. Also pay the fee. You can get a list of open spots in our schedule from Miho." "You're awfully cold, Miss CEO." Momose's attitude seemed to have no effect whatsoever on Ban. He waved his fan indifferently. "Did you forget who helped you even start this company?" "You're still bringing that up? How many years do you think you can say the same thing and still have it work?" You're a harsh one. "Alright, will this do for your fee?" Ban offered her a plastic bag with the logo of a local confectionery shop on it. Oh, why didn't you say you bought me something? Thanks, as always. Fucking mercenary. Miho, some tea for me and my guest. Momose's attitude changed completely. She called out to one of her employees and opened the bag to examine the goodies. Anyway, it gets to a point. The author had to have had experience. No human could conjure him of pure imagination. Again, I can see your point, but I don't feel comfortable like saying one way or the other. You know? Also, let me see something here. Like something important came up. Just give me a minute. It's probably nothing, but still. Yeah, it's nothing. Why would it ever be something? Ooh, Chestnut Yokan. It's just the season for this. You always know exactly what you get me. Come on, Ban. Don't just stand there. Sit down. Thanks. Ban chuckled as he pulled a chair over from a nearby desk and sat next to Momose. A female secretary brought over 2 paper cups filled with hot tea. So, any new news? Give me a second to enjoy this first. Momose carefully peeled the wrapper off of one of the bars, folded it up, and set it off to the side of her computer. Then she popped open her mouth and tossed the first piece of chestnut yokan in. Momose was a woman who loved Japanese confections. Whenever he wanted to know something, Ban had to bring her some kind of treat. I don't know if I told you guys the story before. So if I have, please stop me. Please tell me like, oh, you already talked about this. But my dad was talking to me like, he told me about a particular professor he had to deal with, which would always dismiss him and like all his friends whenever they had like questions about his subject. He'd say like, oh, like go look in the book, and like study is like your job as like student. Like you shouldn't need me for that. So but like that's how he treated his male students. But whenever like a cute girl, whenever like a female student, especially if she was like cute, would ask him something, he'd suddenly like have all the time in the world for her. He'd say, oh no, don't worry, dear, like you can find this information on this specific chapter, on this specific book, on like this specific page. In fact, let me solve the problem for you so you know what to do for future problems. And so what my dad and his friends would do is that they would always call on a particularly cute girl and give her all their like questions, so she could ask the teacher and like have the answers to give them. Because if they try to ask him themselves, like they would get no help. Somewhat creepy, but also somewhat funny to think about. Anyway, moving on. This was a university professor, by the way. Not that it makes it much better, but anyway. This is so good. I know I'm in no position to say this to anybody, but have you ever thought about going on a diet? If you don't lose some pounds, you're never going to get married. No comment on that one. You really aren't in a position to say that to anybody. That ship sailed years ago. Momose shrugged and took a sip of her tea, then turned to Ban. There was another New Gen murder, right? Shouldn't you be at work and not here? Don't worry, everybody but me is working hard. I'm going after this from a different angle, you know? Listen to you showing off, you sound ridiculous. Ban decided to avoid the tea until it cooled down. He couldn't handle anything, food or drink, that was too hot. The weather had turned cold, but he was still waving the fan at his face. It was a habit of his. Are the police looking into the GE rates? Yeah, that GE rate thing, that was incredible. It was just like you said. I never give you bad information. This is how... Yeah, I'm going to have to do that later. This is how I make my living. So? Well, I'm looking into it on my own. On your own? Ban! Momose's voice echoed through the room. She was always a very forceful woman, and a loud one at that. The employees at Frasier were used to it, and none of them even raised an eyebrow at the noise. Not a day went by when Momose wasn't yelling at somebody. Ban had known her for years too, had been on the receiving end of her yelling dozens of times. Ironically, his reaction was to pick at his ears. Momose's tone quickly dropped. This wasn't something she wanted anyone to hear. But the smile on her face that had been there when she was eating the yoka a moment ago was now completely gone, was replaced with a look of intense rage as she pointed her finger in his face. I told you it's dangerous to look into this on your own. Politicians, religions, companies, do you know how many different groups are involved in this? You know what happened to Dr. Ota when he talked about the GE rate on TV, right? Why would you say this? I do like the CG. Yeah, it's... all the CGs in this game are really good, but this one especially stands out. I don't know why, just very, very well drawn. That's like all the school bus drivers I had. I think we talked about this on another stream, but Jesus Christ. Anyway. Oh yeah, the guy that got crucified. I heard it a bunch of times. And you hear it a bunch more. That's right, a whole bunch. You always ignore my warnings. And I'm the one who always has to clean up your messes. Come on, calm down. Have a sip of tea and catch your breath. Momose's reaction was to go for a second piece of chestnut yoka, not the tea. It's fine. I've got Suwa with me. The stuff about the GE rate is too weird to get buy-in from the brass. Suwa's good at his job, and he has a level head on his shoulders. But don't you dare make him do anything risky. Since when were you Suwa's mom? I just feel bad for any promising youth who gets caught up in your crazy plans. Oh, you do you? Ban shrugged. He tried taking a sip of the tea, but it was still too hot. He winced in pain. Is it really possible for biorhythms to make somebody so crazy they kill, though? Not commenting on that. I explained this before, didn't I? I still don't really get it. Does it have something to do with these electromagnetic waves you love so much? Momose sighed and drank her tea. Unlike Ban, it didn't seem to bother her. You know what happens with crime on the night of the full moon, right? Yeah, I guess. There are a lot of accidents and crimes on the night of the full moon. This wasn't an urban legend. It was something you could see yourself just by looking at Tokyo police statistics. What would happen if people's biorhythms were affected by something more powerful than the full moon? They get excited, right? Is that all? Shibuya is a special town. You know that, right? When the GE rate goes up, it increases the biorhythm curve too. And the effects it has are approximately 6,800 times greater than that of the night of a full moon. That's kind of a hard number to imagine. Just think of it as so much bigger you can't even compare it. But why now? Before he died, Dr. Ota was saying it's because the GE rates been increasing rapidly for the past 6 months. But that would be impossible without some major change in the makeup of the ground beneath us. A change, huh? Yeah, you need enough energy for a volcano to blow up right in front of Shibuya's Scramble Crossing. A volcano? It's that powerful? That's how impossible the current GE rate is. And the professor tried to tell the world, only to die during one of the New Gen murders. Did you know that the day before the murder, the TV show he was scheduled to go on was suddenly cancelled? Suspicious. You're sure? I know somebody who works at AIM-HK. These names, I swear. They told me. There aren't a lot of places that could put that kind of pressure on a public broadcast program. I don't really know the details myself. If I did, I would have told somebody by now. Ban leaned forward, seemingly interested. I can take a guess, but I want you to come out and say it plainly. You really want to hear this? You'll be stepping into some of the darkest corners of our society, are you sure? You might get fired over this, Bun. All I care about is catching the new gen killer. Well, I guess I'll figure out what to do once I hear what you have to say. Momose sipped her tea, using her left hand to type into the laptop. A document appeared on the LCD monitor. It contained a list of information she'd researched on her own. The Meiwa Party. Okay, one sec. A fictional Japanese political party, one of the two major parties in Japan. The Meiwa Party presently controls both houses of the Diet and is the nation's dominant political party. Meiwa suddenly came to power in a general election 4 years ago, and before then was a relatively minor faction. Its slogan is "A Bright, Peaceful Future." More and more suspicious. Yeah, I keep being like facetious about this, but I think it's very clear what the game is trying to tell us with this information. I don't think anyone here hasn't figured out yet. Give me a break, Momo. I was thinking you were going to give me the name of a political party that wasn't in power, but not. Bun gave a soft, annoyed moan. But his eyes weren't laughing at all. They were filled with the sharp insight of a detective. This could shake the whole country. I couldn't really ask Remy to come over to the base over the weekend, so I spent 2 days alone and afraid. On Friday, Remy had bought me enough food that I was able to spend the weekend entirely indoors, but I was still afraid enough that several times I almost sent her an email asking her to come over. In the end, I didn't, though. The only time I was released from my fear was the 30 minutes when I was watching the latest episode of Bloodtoon. Even with all that was happening, I refused to give up Bloodtoon. If Remy was my pillar of support in the 3D world, then my 2D support was Bloodtoon, or more specifically, Seiratan. Then, the Monday after I survived the weekend, one second, I'll be off for like just a minute. Literally just a minute. Hold on. Okay, so now that we're back, let's discuss. Let's take a break for the story and discuss a funny thing I saw. You guys know that, unfortunately, a few priests, right, for the Catholic Church can't keep their oath and end up, obviously succumbing to desire and having, relations despite, being priests. And we hear about this quite a bit, but what we don't hear a lot, but that also happens with relative frequency, is nuns doing the same. I remember a case of a nun. Two cases come to mind that I read. Remember the case of a nun I read that got pregnant and then tried to convince everyone that she was the new the new Mary, the new mother of Jesus, because she had gotten pregnant out of nowhere, you know. She had how do we call it? A spontaneous pregnancy, an untainted pregnancy, something like that. She claimed to have gotten pregnant without having sex, but of course nobody bought that. People quickly figured out that she was just seeing someone on the side, you know. And another one that was also caught having sex also had a similar excuse. They all have this sorts of weird excuses for some reason. Where she said that, oh no, she was only having relationships because she was trying to suck out the lustful demons of the men in the church through their penises. Yes, surely that's what you were doing. Why can't these people just ever admit faults? Why they always gotta do these fucking weird ass excuses? Why not just say, oh, I'm so, because that's what you would expect, a Christian, especially someone in such an important position, to just be like, oh no, I made a mistake, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have fallen into temptation, and I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to ask for forgiveness, and that will be that. That's all she needed to do, but no. Anyway. Oh, hello, Metal Wolf, welcome. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised about the nuns. It's just like teachers. Immaculate conception, sorry. Situation so bad, she making heroes. Yeah, she's taking a situation that's already bad, making it even worse. I don't understand. But anyway, continuing on. Then the Monday after I survived the weekend, I looked at the Phantasm community on the free para and saw that something was going on. I quickly clicked on a link that sent me to a channel. The place was in an uproar. God damn it, I was supposed to read that. Wait. Backlog. God damn it, I don't think I... Okay, I just... Fucking hell. Phantasm is finished! Whatever, buddy. KWSK. Whose eyes are those? What's a fez? MJD? H... Oh, hello, Kodokunasu. Welcome. AHM is an institution for real crazies. Another hater. Your trolling skills suck. If you're gonna post a thread, you need a source. You're lying. Fez was never in a mental hospital. Should feel ashamed for slandering somebody like that. I've never even heard of AHM. Screw you. The one watching you was me, Fez. Pound the steak, pound the steak, pound it straight into the lying mouths. One of you haters is going to be the next new gen victim. It's legit. Fez was hospitalized for a long time due to mental issues. The hospital put out a newsletter with pictures, poems, and essays from their patients. You can see a bunch of poems she wrote in it. You can see one on the official site too. Her real name is Ayase Kishimoto. AHM Arc Heart Medical Group. Yes! I thought you guys were in love with her? Few rivals for me then, I guess. Yes! Lol, what? It's real? Fueling the fire. There's even a goddamn photo, lol. Announcement. Phantasm is splitting up. So is Phantasm finished? I really like Fez in a sexual way. I think I already talked about this, but there are some people who are really shameless about some really weird things on the internet, so unfortunately this is quite a realistic representation of these types of forums. But let's see some of these terms, because I don't know what they are. Yeah, I know what fueling the fire is. MJD, short for Majide, or really seriously, used when you can't believe something is happening. Okay. This must be an expression of the Great Will's guidance too, right? Suddenly, Shin Megami Tensei. Those lyrics aren't in a Phantasm song, are they? The one watching you was me, Ayase Kishimoto. Fez, please don't quit. I'm crying here. Kinda get it, every genius is supposed to be a little crazy, right? Fez is gonna break up, I know it's KTKR. We hold the Black Mass tonight. Okay, there's going to be a lot of terms for us to, new terms for us to see here. LOLI. If you're not sure what it means, try saying it out loud, just not too loud. LOLI. LOLI. Yeah, I don't get it. Festan Pent. I guess Phantasm's finished though. Honestly, I think it's a better ending for them than signing with a major label and selling out. LOLI. But this doesn't even... You know what? I'm not getting into this today. Any official comment from Fez yet? You HN virgins can bitch online all you want and it won't change a thing. Fez don't look at the past, only the future. The next prophecy of death is going to be about you losers, lol. Wait, what's the issue with this exactly? There's the person inside. That's you, isn't it, Fez? You're desperate to keep your band running. We all knew Fez was crazy to begin with. Who cares? Fez had mental problems, huh? Honestly, I think that just makes her hotter. This is so fucking accurate, it hurts. Oh my god. Anyway. Calm down, guys. This is all a big troll by Festan. Bet Fez went crazy because the world is filled with evil. The power awakened her punk soul. Her aggressive, intense lyrics are a cry from her soul, which has ascended to a higher dimension. If anything, we should be grateful to 12 for giving us this deeper understanding of her origins. Official sites down. I went to the URL that 12 had posted. Arc Medical Association was a long-established psychiatric facility that only treated the most severe patients. What is Arc Medical Group? What we do: early calendar, dormitory availability, facility tour, children's welfare consulting, access, children's creative exhibition. Contact us. Arc Heart Medical Group guides children towards a better life with strong leadership and a facility surrounded by beautiful greenery. Oh, hello, Akira. Welcome. And what guy are you referring to, Arma? There was a picture of the hospital on the site, and it showed bars on the windows. It looked like an old prison. Wasn't sure if it even existed anymore. The homepage hadn't been updated for almost 4 years. But just like Kei-chan had said, the site had a picture of a young Ayase Kishimoto along with a poem she'd written. Ayase was in a mental hospital. I wasn't really shocked or anything. The body lurks in the shadow of a wicked heart, a thing which cannot be seen. I try to get away from it, but this unending nightmare shall someday become a blade and slash apart my body. A shield of indifference helps the people avoid the flames of war. The enemy of this newborn battlefield is the wicked one within the heart. Evil can sometimes have a will of its own and manifest in our world. I got to a mental hospital when I was in elementary school too. If anything, it made me feel a little closer to her. She was just like me, for real, for real. Despite all her popularity, despite all her charisma, she was just like me. Shouldn't that be like more depressing than like encouraging for you? I don't know. Anyway. One sec. Having this in common made the idea that I had the same power she did. The power to project delusions into reality felt more likely. It gave me courage and hope. But there was a problem. Until now, I blindly believed everything she said. But maybe that was a mistake. What she'd said about how to get a D sword. Even the fact that getting a D sword would be what saved me. Started to doubt not what she had showed me, but what she told me. Should I believe it or... I started in fright as my phone suddenly rang. Phones always love to surprise you when you were least expecting it. Can you be surprised if you're expecting... I'm being pedantic. That's why I hated them. I sighed and picked it up. It was probably Nanami. She was probably calling to complain about something again. What a nuisance. I hit the accept call button and put the phone up to my ear, without bothering to look at the number. Why'd I do that? Why was this the one call where I didn't look at the number first? Maybe it's simply because he was like impatient and like mad and stuff like that. Anyway, is this Bleach? No, what the fuck? Metal Wolf's name always reminds me of the most American game ever made, Metal Wolf Chaos. Speaking of being American as fuck, Neddy had her debut in the latest 100 GF episodes by the... Oh, I saw that, don't worry. That was certainly something. I said I relate to the dude because every girl I've ever been interested in has gone to a mental hospital. Oh! Yeah, that's not too surprising. One of the 3 fanboys I know went there as well. Arma, are you a I can fix her type of guy? No, it's just by coincidence. I used to think that way though. Maybe I am. As Archer would say, that's hell you're walking into, but you probably are already cautious enough, I believe. Oh my, it's that song. Metal Wolf Chaos just Armored Core 3.5. Power of Projection. Speaking of Archer, let's talk Shiro. Remember how he went after Sakura? I am the same. Anyway, continuing on. But yeah, that's the song that I think Shogun played, if I'm remembering correctly. The melody coming out the phone at an impossibly loud volume was Torianse. I quickly looked at the number on the phone's LCD display. It was the same number. But how? I thought it wasn't in service anymore. I'd had Nanami call it, and there had been a message saying so. Had the person behind this prank brought it back online? What do I do? Looked around the room. If Rimi was there, she could give me some advice. But she wasn't. Of course not, Rimi was at school right now. I told her I wasn't going today, and she hadn't come to wake me up. The melody kept playing as I sat there freaking out. A whole minute had passed. When I had it up to my ear a moment ago, I could hear other faint sounds besides Torianse. The sound of people walking, of car engines, so it had to be outside. Who was on the phone? I could only think of one person who'd pull a prank like this. Shogun. I turned to Seira-tan, who was standing next to my PC monitor, for help. What do you think I should do, Seira? Seira-tan smiled the way she always did. Just hang up, ignore it. Yeah, that's right, I can do that. I should have done that right from the start. Put my thumb to the end call button. But for some reason, I decided to listen to the Torianse melody just a little more before I hung up. It felt so strange. I wanted to hang up right now, but almost unconsciously, put the hand with the phone up to my ear. Maybe there's some mind control going on. It came in a flood from the receiver. An incredible pain. A violent sound like a supersonic wave. The sound infected my body. My head felt an impact like I had been struck by lightning. My whole body froze. I screamed, I couldn't even hear my own voice. I boiled over. My brain. My heart. They boiled and bubbled and started to melt. The pain tore through my body, ripping through my flesh. My mind turned to liquid and raced through my body, converging at my heart and exploding into a fine mist. It felt horrible, crazy. I couldn't even think about what had just happened to me. Okay, seems like we reached a bad ending. Sorry guys, it's over. Stream's done. Anyway, yep, that one. Not mind control. The beat is just fire. I mean, fair. When Yua Kuzunoki opened her eyes, she could tell that all hell had broken loose in Class 3B, her class. Several of the students were lying on the ground. Their eyes had rolled back into their heads. They were foaming at the mouth, spasming and jerking. Several of the others were curled up into little balls, clutching their heads in pain. The rest were standing up, one after another, and leaving the room. Even though it was in the middle of class, the teacher was too busy helping the ones who were having seizures to stop them. The students in the hallway were all yelling in shock, but Yua didn't hear what they were saying. Fate Stay Night level of bad end. I kicked a rock 2 days ago and was skinned by Ilya. True. Actually, like a bad ending that I saw that was just the most stupid thing ever. Like, hold on. One sec. So, there was this adventure game I was watching a gameplay of, right? And in the adventure game, you're supposed to help out a witch. Well, one of the paths. Like, you can take multiple paths, and in one of the paths, you're supposed to help out a witch, right? And, but you're supposed to help her out in a very specific way. Because the game is trying to tell you, oh no, don't overstep your boundaries. Like, trust her to do her job and do your job, okay? So you can choose to say, oh no, like, you're an old woman, let me help, like, stir the cauldron. Because, like, at this point, like, it's just a nice thing to do, right? But if you choose to do that, she rejects you and tells you to just sit down and wait. So, you just sit down and wait. But if you just sit down and wait and not try to help, the story just continues like normally, right? But if you like try to help her, and then she politely declines and you politely accept that... that, like, not even insist or anything like that, then you just slip over, like then you just like kind of slip on your... I don't even know how to describe it. You just slip and fall into a rock, which hits your head, and then you die instantly. Like, for no reason. Like, if you fucking don't choose to help, like, you just sit on like a rock and wait for her to finish. If you try to help, you get politely declined, politely accept, and then you just slip and die for zero reason at all, because the message, I don't fucking know. It's just so fucking... It was so stupid. Like, there's some really random deaths in that game, but this was the one that genuinely made me mad. Like, we didn't do anything, and the game just killed us just because. Like, how dare you try to help out the old woman, you misogynist. I don't know, man. Anyway, it's a point and click, isn't it? No, it's more of a visual novel, like this one I'm playing. Games like this doing everything in their power to kill you, bro. Themes and such. Moving on. Her phone had been going off inside her skirt pocket. She finally realized it was buzzing and slowly reached a hand toward it. She tried to stand up, but she staggered and fell from her chair. She crouched and leaned up against the wall. After putting her glasses back up to her face, she pressed the answer call button and put the phone to her ear. Hello? Yes, okay. Yes? Oh, I'm okay. She winced after she said that, then put her hand to her forehead. She could hear the voices of her classmates talking noisily outside, and her teacher shouting at the fallen students to wake up, but all this seemed to be happening very far away. I'm sorry? Yes. Who are you? Yes, I see, and... Huh? Her face suddenly turned pale as she gulped. She covered her phone with her hand and dropped her voice low. It was clear from her tone that whatever she heard had rattled her. That's impossible. Because it was. She stopped and had let her hood droop. It was actually me. The noise outside grew louder. Everyone was looking the same direction, pointing fingers with fearful expressions on their faces. The windows in the hallways were rattling like they'd been hit by a gust of wind. Yes, 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 my younger sister. Yes, understood. She bowed weakly, as if the person she was talking to was right in front of her, and hung up the phone. Then she looked up and toward the direction everyone was pointing. The sky. It was like someone had poured white paint on a pool of water surface. The muddied blue of the sky was turning white. It was spreading at incredible speed. It was devouring the sky. It's turning white. And we're done with the 5th chapter. Yasuji-ban was finally released from the long task force meeting and should have felt much better. But today things were different. He walked away from the other detectives and towards the windowsill, where he called his junior partner. Sua hadn't shown up for the meeting today. Ban had wanted to skip it too, but it didn't seem fair that Sua got to. Sua might not look like it, but he took his work extremely seriously. At least that's what Ban had thought, so he was surprised when Sua skipped today. He tried to get a hold of him several times, but there had been no answer. Ever since Ban had talked to Momose 2 days ago, he had a bad feeling that wouldn't go away. And things had gone even worse today. Not only was Sua missing, when he brought up the GE rate during the meeting, Matsunaga had told him he was being ridiculous and needed to stop wasting everyone's time. Please don't let anything else happen. Ban sighed a little as he fanned his face. He heard the call being picked up and Sua answered. Is that you? You idiot, where the hell are you? The connection was really bad. Ban wondered if Sua had gone off somewhere deep into the countryside. Sorry, ask now. My own... Huh? What did you say? Where are you? Ban yelled. He stopped being able to hear Sua at all. Instead, there was a small period of nothing but static. Well, can you hear me now? Yeah. So where the hell are you? I thought of something, so I'm doing some questioning. Listen to me. Sua shouldn't have been going off on his own. But Ban had a nasty habit of doing just that. He chuckled. Maybe his bad habits had rubbed off on his junior partner. I think I've almost got it. Incontrovertible proof of the real New Gen killer's identity. The real killer? Ban's eyes went wide. I'm keeping it a secret for now. I might be wrong after all. Just get your ass back here, got it? No, I'm gonna look around a little more. What? Hey, get back here. I'm fine, leave it to me. Sua! Sua! What the hell? Suddenly the ground started to shake. An earthquake? The shaking got more and more violent. Ban couldn't even stay standing. He dropped to a crouch. He dropped to a crouch to keep from falling over. This is a big one. At first, the other detectives seemed unconcerned, but they soon realized the seriousness of the situation and began to crouch or hide under the tables. One sec. Okay. Lona RPG level of BS. I haven't been too far into Lona, haven't gotten too far into Lona, so I don't know if this is true. I know that there are some random events, but for now they don't seem too bullshit, you know? Surprised, it's usually shit like Harvester or Maniac Mansion with the out there deaths. Some of these more like indie, like visual novels can have some of these too. Like I'm not talking about like a moe anime visual novel. I'm talking like more of a Western horror one. You know, like from Ichio and stuff like that. Y'all remember that one game OA played where you go to sleep and you die by a random crystal? I sure remember. Three sentences just to say that there were clouds in the sky, padding incarnate. Welcome to the stream, official. But that's not the point. Like, it's not normal clouds, you know? It's like the sky is literally turning white. That's what they were trying to describe. It's a supernatural phenomena, which is why like it needed to be said this way. It wasn't just padding. Before we continue though, like I'd like to talk about one more topic. Let's pause a bit and talk about something else. Okay, fine, that's more fair, official. But anyway, the thing I wanted to ask is that I heard this comedian, right? I don't remember his name, but he's a famous like stand-up comedian, right? And he said that like, oh, if we had those like sex robots in like real life, that would be the end of humanity. Because who the hell would want to like go meet a real woman if they had like a robot that whenever you got home, it already had like on the first day dinner ready and like laughed at your jokes, and like a couple of minutes into you getting to home, she already begins sucking your dick right there in the like living room, you know? Like if they had a robot like that, then anytime they went to meet a real woman, they'd be like, what the hell is happening? Why it's been 5 minutes and she isn't sucking my dick yet? Like why isn't she laughing at my jokes? Like what's wrong here? You know? So the question I wanted to ask is like, if robots like that genuinely existed, would you all like be interested in one? Would you all like get one of these robots? Because I'm curious, like, and I mean like a robot that exactly like I'm describing, like a robot that cooks for you automatically, laughs at whatever stupid joke you make, and like sucks your dick on command. Like, would you get one of these robots? Maybe, but the one the size I want would get me score. Don't worry, like, ones from every size would get scorned. Like, don't you worry about that. You wouldn't even need to, like, get a lolly one to get scorned for that. Don't answer the question, guys. He's trying to enlist us into joining an instrumentality. God damn it, fucking facial saw right through me. Damn fucking detective-ass commenters. Nah, I'm good with just a cute maid bot that says my jokes suck. Okay, we have a masochist on chat. At best, I'll use it like an oversized broom rather than a substitute of any sort. Uh, I feel like the people lonely enough to want it cannot afford it. The people who can get, who can get with real woman. That's a great point there, honestly. Very like unfortunate fact, but yeah, I feel like this is accurate. But it'd be a bit boring if we just talked about a singular subject before coming back to play, since that was like so short. So let's talk about something else. I meant more as a straight man type character. Okay, okay. No, maybe later. Okay. So, did you all see like that take that Asmongold recently made? We're not going to be commenting about the take specifically, but about interesting response that I've seen to it. Because he said like, oh, if you look at like the old things for games, right? What do you see? You don't see any woman in them. You see like a lot of passionate, nerdy fat guys, right? And if you look at a modern like game development team, all you see are like women and LGBTQ people, right? So there's your problem. Like if you want to have good games again, like we need to get rid of all these women and all these LGBTQ people, and we need to put the fat nerdy guys back. Like only if we like go back, we can have good games again. And like I've seen various takes like debunking that, saying that oh no, there were like quite a few more popular and not as nerdy guys making games before. There were quite a few women on like and like gay people on like game development teams before. So you're wrong, blah blah blah. That's very superficial stuff, and not what I wanted to comment. But the take I wanted to comment on actually is as follows. Because someone someone pointed out like, okay, let's say that you're right? Let's say that all these like fat nerds are all passionate and good and based, and they want to create good games, and all the women are evil voids that like do nothing but like insert the message, right? So let's say that this is true and that we did exactly as you said. We got rid of all like the woman LGBTQ people and just kept the fat nerdy guys, right? Like even then the games would still be garbage. And that's because it's not just the people making the games that are bad, but the environment around them. Like even if we got a bunch of these like ideal like fat nerdy guys that make the good shit, right? They couldn't put their creativity to like any kind of use if they're surrounded by greedy like CEOs who are trying to monetize their games to hell. They can't express their creativity if they have censorious payment platforms that can't see anything even mildly offensive, and they start to censor things. They can't express their creativity with a culture of, oh no, we need to make a game for as many people as possible and like as inoffensive as possible. They can't manifest their creativity with like a team of HR ladies like constantly watching them in order to see if the jokes they made are too offensive or not. They can't express the creativity with a team of consultants constantly like making changes because their ideas are not politically correct, right? It's not just the people like making the games. Like even if we had these ideal developers, if the environment is toxic, like great games aren't going to be made regardless, you know? And some people, one person pointed out, oh, but the environment in, for example, something like China is pretty awful, and they still made great games like Zenless Zone Zero and like Marvel Rivals and stuff like that. So clearly you're just wrong. Like good games can come from like even a very sensorious environment. But I feel like this take doesn't take away from like what the dude said. It, if anything, it just reinforces it, because like if even in as sensorious a country as China, they still don't feel as pressured as in a normal game company in America, then clearly we're doing something wrong, you know? Like, and you can see that for his horrible and Gunnar an example has this is going to be, you can see that with the swimsuits that they were making, right? Because before Marvel Rivals, right? Before Marvel Rivals, if you it'd be very rare for any Western game to have a swimsuit option for the characters, and if they did, it was like the most cucked thing ever. Like I looked at the swimsuits that they gave for some of the female characters in Zenless Zone Zero, you know, that Chinese game, and like I thought they were cucked, but the swimsuits they gave to the Zenless Zone Zero characters look like transparent tongue micro bikinis in comparison to some of the stuff that I seen being given to like the characters in modern Western games. It's that egregious, you know. So that's how you know that like even the evil censorious Chinese company is still better than working in that type of environment. If anything, it reinforces the point for me. But what do you guys think? Anyway, DC Detective Chats. I meant more as a straight. Okay. Did you saw that god awful Brazilian localization for Tolkien? No, I haven't. I'm going to have to see that later. Stop following that guy ages ago, honestly. I thank the Lord I'm not online enough to know these streamers. This isn't a bad take. We need a loser, no life with money to make a game which can feel the wants of no lifers. It's mostly correct, but once in a while the snowflakes can make good games. Nah, Yandere Dev and Pirate Software exist. A good game is a good game. Good developers can come from anywhere, just like how bad developers can come from anywhere. I agree. But again, I feel like this is a surface level point. It's correct, like I said. There are some great points on this, like, on this like level that you can make against like Asmongold's claim, but I feel like they don't address the root of the issue, which is why I want to take that other point and talk about it. Just go indie. That's not possible for quite a few people, unfortunately. And I was like hearing about this from like someone that, oh, just go indie, but like that doesn't, that's not an option for some people. And I'm not just talking about developers, I'm talking about gamers as well. Like there was a guy that I saw that was very frustrated with Sonic, right? With the newer Sonic games, and people said, oh, just go indie. Like a lot of people made Sonic, like classic Sonic, the 2D ones, style games that you'd love. And he said, I've tested those games, they're good, but they don't have like AAA quality, you know? And that's what I want. I want AAA quality because uh, that indie game, sure, it's good, but it doesn't have the same mechanical depths, the same kind of technology and work that you can expect from a big company. That's why the indies can't outright replace the AAA for me. And not just that, but the indies simply don't have the characters I'm invested with. Half the reason I play Sonic games is because I like Sonic, the character, not just the style of the gameplay. And obviously the indies can't do that. So, yeah, like I understand the point, but I really wish the AAA would get better instead of me needing to move to indies because there's a lot of stuff that indies just can't replace in the mainstream. Anyway, exactly, the suits are the ones hiring the evil Voids in the first place. It's because the evil Voids are the people who actually care, while the fat losers don't, usually. Notice the quotation marks, Arma. Ah, I see. Marvel Rivals, good. It only fills me with rage. Tokon is truly the superior mainstream Marvel game so far. I haven't seen much of it, I can comment. Appealing to hyper-consumerism despite no one consuming, it is force-feeding, via why no one likes it. The greedy goys are forced to it by the even more greedy redacted people. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. If people talk. No, sorry. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. If bad people talk, if good people play it, they benefit both. And we know how much they actually control. The illusion of peak and mediocre. You have no choice, you must consume. Then we shall make a new studio. Did he say that before or after the latest Sonic Racing? That one is pretty high quality. He said it before. Consume Goi and die when your stomach collapses from the slop. Frontiers is good, but it's lacking a lot of polish. My robotics team is trying to keep me from your stream. Must stay and investigate if te amos. Welcome to the stream, Big Pew. But yeah, I think you all have a lot of good takes about this. But for now, we'll return to the game. After a bit, I'll be talking about a topic, like the curse topic, right? But before that, let's continue for a bit. Just get to like this. Where is this? Where is it? No, I already talked about this, so it's just that after this, okay. Suits are the ones who hire the dreaded bitch who tank Captain Marvel's sales. Glad Tolkien picks the Miss Marvel version instead. Then, the industry truly is healing. Huh. Well, we'll get to that in the next topic. Let's continue for now. At first, the other detectives seemed unconcerned, but they soon realized the seriousness of the situation and began to crouch or hide under tables. The clock on the wall, the pen and paper cups on the table, the projector device, one after another, they fell to the floor with a crash. The two whiteboards in the conference room fell too. It was like a passenger jet that ran into a string of turbulence. That's how it felt to Bun, like his legs weren't even touching the ground. The shaking was spinning his whole body left to right. It was probably a 5 or 6 in intensity. Damn, that's quite high actually. Is this the next big one? And now of all times. Then Bun felt a strong shock, like someone punched him in the head. He moaned in pain. Oh wait, so what did I miss so far? Takumi tried to. First of all, welcome to the stream, Gamigan. But Takumi tried talking to like Rimi about his abilities. She didn't believe him. He went to a forum which was discussing Fez being mentally ill, and we've been accompanying Bun's investigation. Also, we are learning more about the government conspiracy that's fueling all this. And no, there wasn't a gay kissing scene. Like, don't try to even like gaslight Gummy. He already played this game. No one had physically punched him. It was just an incredible headache. Suddenly, a screen filled the conference room. Bun gritted his teeth and looked up, and saw one of the local detectives had his hands pressed up against his head, trembling with pain. Then he fell helplessly to the ground, like a doll dropped by a child. Most of the other detectives were either wincing in pain, their heads against their temples, or holding their heads. What was this headache? He never felt anything like it before. Did it have something to do with the earthquake? Bun had no way of knowing. Little by little, the shaking stopped. Bun looked outside, vision blurry. There was white light everywhere. It was so bright, Bun couldn't keep his eyes open. I opened my eyes, feeling a pain so strong I thought my head would burst. Oh god, oh no, oh no! Guys, the earthquake was real, like it messed up his room, like his figures are all destroyed. I realized I'd fallen backwards into the middle of the room. I tried to get up, but when I did, the pain in my head spread through the rest of my body. I moaned in agony. After 5 minutes or so of writing on the floor, the pain gradually subsided. I managed to use the bedpost as a support to climb back up. I wiped away the thick sweat on my brow. My room looked like it had been hit by a tornado. All my wives had either toppled over or fallen off their shelves entirely. The bed was now tilted, and my manga and age game boxes had fallen off and scattered onto the floor. What had just happened? I picked up the phone and then heard Torianse, and then it had turned into what sounded like an ambulance siren. Huh. I thought he'd be more freaked out about the figures, but That's right, there'd been that buzzer sound, and then the low sound of the earth rumbling. Then it felt like my whole body had boiled and melted. Didn't remember anything that happened after that. My mind was a total blank. Was this some kind of electromagnetic wave attack by Shogun? Maybe Shogun could do the same thing as that system I read about in the patent. The idea terrified me. I looked up at the ceiling, still reeling from a headache. Of course, there was nothing to see. My mind was being read. It was being read by a satellite high above me. Nah, there's no way. But from what Senna had said before, it sounded like the system in the patent was already in use, and some people were using it for evil. If one of those people was Shogun, no, that was impossible. There was no way that could be true. That frail old man looked like he could die at any moment. There's no way he could have his own orbital satellite. Or was he at the center of some big government project? Could be. There was no point in starting a delusion and scaring myself to death with it. It was clear something had happened, so I decided to look online to find out what. I crawled toward the computer, trying my best to ignore the pain in my head. Huh? Was sure I left my computer. Obviously, like, it either was disconnected or broke, dude. Like, your literal like shelves toppled over. Also, I'm surprised his Satan figure is still intact. It should have been displaying the Satan screensaver, but instead the screen was black. Hadn't set it to go into standby mode automatically, so that shouldn't happen, but my mind was still foggy. My whole body felt frail and weak. It took all my strength just to stand up. Okay, so maybe he hasn't realized his situation still. I grit my teeth to help with the pain and try to move the mouse. Nothing. Next, I tried the power button. The hard disk started with a whir and click. Oh, so it is still working. I slumped into my computer chair with a thud. While I waited for the computer to boot up, I reached out a desperate hand for my phone, which was still lying on the table. I looked at the time. Huh? 1 p.m.? What time had it been when I got that call? I remembered I was looking at information on ISL on 8chan. I tried to think and the pain just got worse. What time? Think. Remember. That's right, it wasn't even noon yet. Which meant I was out for over an hour? Or had I been sleepwalking and been off wandering somewhere for the past hour? I don't sleepwalk. Would a fox girl have 2 or 4 ears? They should have only 2. But, like Akira said. But generally they have 4. Because of that phenomena I was talking about. Where people put, like, human ears into, like, animal people. Even though they don't need them. Just so they don't look too weird to most people. So, fox ears... fox woman should only have 2 fox ears, just like Akira said, but generally they have 4. Like, yeah, it's an abomination, but unfortunately it's the most common way to design these types of characters. I'm sorry. I shook my head before my brain could fill itself with more negative thoughts. When I did, the aching in my head made me feel like I would pass out. It was like my brain had been replaced by a lump of meat. No, lump of lead, sorry. I looked over at the PC monitor. Oh my god, imagine if it actually broke. Oh yeah, it really fucking broke. Wait, really? Could it be my hard disk was damaged? No, it can't be. This can't be happening. It's the end of the world. Yeah, unfortunately, like, you should be thankful your PC even works after a, like, earthquake, buddy. Like, I get it. I get the, like, despair, but unfortunately, you're lucky this thing even, like, turns back on. My gigabytes of saved XXX Moipo. The save data from my age games. Is that really what you're concerned with? My bookmarks for my daily browsing. Don't those stay online? My schedule that told me when to go to school. Okay, now that's more important. More than anything, the most important thing in the world for me. My ESO save data. Isn't that an online game? Doesn't it get stored in the cloud? What are you talking about? Was it all gone? Do you understand that some of these things, well, maybe the fucking writer doesn't understand, but you do understand that some of these things are stored online, right? They're not stored directly into your computer. Like, that's not how this works. Damn it. I wanted to scream in rage. I want to pound my fists into the keyboard. I want to kick in the walls, and more than anything, I want to see if it could be recovered right this very instant. But my whole body was still heavy and slow, and my head still ached. All I could do was lie in my chair and bite my lip. It was over. My life was over. The loss of my ESO save file meant my life no longer had any meaning. Nothing mattered anymore. My life was nothing but ash and dust. I don't know why, but this reminds me of the video of that guy, like, whose mom deleted his World of Warcraft account, and then he went ballistic. Like, I think it's a pretty popular video, but maybe we'll watch it later. Anyway, moving on. Let me address the comments before we continue. Uh, Imagine the crossover of Red Alert 3 with Red Winter from BA. I mean, like, given the kinds of mods I've seen for most, like, strategy games on the internet, I wouldn't be surprised. I doubt there will be an official collab, but there's definitely a mod for that already. Which student would go to space? Oh yeah, I played this. It's good. It's just to say Chaos Child way better too. With better protagonist. That one is great. Seirata! This is what he gets for living in a shipping container. You say that as if he lived on like a proper apartment, this wouldn't have happened. Like, I'm sorry to say, but like the result would have been pretty much the same if he had a normal apartment. Takumi Whimper audio? The PC is gone. There all his money and his great figures damage. What? Okay. Then the 300 is using it. Okay. Okay, I already addressed the 4-year Kemo no Mimi. It's probably because the normies that they stay with human years. It's not just the normies. It's more like a human thing. Again, like most people, even like otakus, feel weird when like they see a character that a human character that doesn't have ears, like human ears. So that's why, again, there are some that don't do it, but most designs like that still include the human ears to avoid this like strangeness that most people see. My dog looks like a mini wolf. He's very cute. It's nice to hear. Red screen of that. Maybe he doesn't have his passwords. You do have a good point. And before anyone says he's contradicting himself, moe is literally a genre. Why would that be a contradiction? Anyway. Elder Scrolls Online Takumi plays. Takumi did have his head hurt, so maybe he's confused. Yeah, you know what? That's a fair theory. My dog is watching your stream. Hi, Arma's dog. Thanks for watching. Depends, Owe. I think Phantasy Star Online saves data locally because the game is still technically offline. The first one, of course. Phantasy Star Online 2 is a full-blown MMO. I mean, yeah, like some older games used to do that, but I'm pretty sure, like because this game isn't set that far in the past, you know? So I do think that if we were to be accurate, like, I don't think he would have anything to worry. Some people think Moe and Eroge are worlds apart. Those aren't really like people, Akira. You don't need to treat them as such. Like, those you can pretty much disregard as bugs. Let's say that. Sorry, that went too far. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I played Chaos Head, it's good, and Chaos Child even better with a better protect. Yeah, I already heard that. I already read that, Gummigun. Yet Chaos Child got the worst anime of the two. Then, even worse than Chaos Head, then, that's fucking achievement. It said ESO, after all, Elders... okay. Okay, I got the joke now. I got the joke now, Gummigun. Okay. Dan OA letting his deep feelings out. Nah, I'm not letting my deep feelings out today. Like, if I did, I would be fucking banned. Like, just so you guys have an idea, and I'm going to preface this, but with a warning for YouTube. This is all in Minecraft. I don't mean anything, like, serious about this. Like, this is all, like, hypothetical. Like, this isn't serious, okay? Okay, now with the, like, bullshit excuses out the way, sometimes when I'm on Twitter, like, I do get this urge to very creatively and in like very detailed terms, tell some Twitter users like exactly why the world would be a better place if they weren't here anymore. Like if they suddenly exited the game, you know? So no, I can't let my deep feelings out on any day because if I did so, I get banned. But anyway, don't worry, YouTube. This is all in Minecraft. I don't mean anything serious with this. Truly, truly. Anyway, what the fuck did I walk in on? My life is ash and dust. What happened to him? Oh, he thinks that he's like what's the name? His ESO account has been deleted. That his memories, like that the memory on his computer has all been like broke, and he lost everything. He lost everything. Always Jewish rage. Streets of Rage on Twitter. First mistake, of course, it's on Twitter. Load to your end. Yeah, you know what? That's a fair take. Going on Twitter, I realized why this world is forsaken. Ah, yes, I remember the Minecraft Twitter update. Yeah, the anime Chaos Child is an abomination of anime. A disrespect to the vision. Dan. Gamigan, did you say you liked the Chaos Head anime? If you liked that one but didn't like the Chaos Child one, I can only imagine how much worse that one is. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. But anyway, continuing with the game. Somebody just kill me. Oh, like, don't worry. Like, I would do that anytime. Oi, Taki. Sarah looked up from where she was lying sideways on my desk and gave me an angelic smile. Calm down. ESO is an online game. They keep all the save data on the server, don't they? Thank you, Sarah-tan. Okay, it seems like this is, like people were saying, that this was all because he was desperate and had hit his head. Okay, so the writers do know that. Server, did she mean the game company server? So even if your PC breaks, Night Heart's data should still be there, right? Oh right, this was something every gamer knew, but I was so out of it that I'd forgotten. I felt like I'd found one small sliver of hope amidst the despair. Way to go, my wife. I hadn't made any backups of my pics or MP3s, so I have to give up on those. It wasn't ideal, but I didn't have a choice. I still wanted to start reformatting my computer as soon as possible. Needed to see if my ESO data was safe with my own eyes. Of course, for that I need this headache to go away. The pain didn't feel like it was going away anytime soon. Takumi's so brain dead he needs a hallucination to remind him how online games work. Oh god. Great take. That's a great comment right there. In before always starts narrating an unprompted fanfic about some random chat user being Obui Dojin female protagonist. Nah, I fucking Obui. I straight up go for fucking what's his name? Fucking hell, now I'm forgetting stuff. One sec. Oh, I straight up go for like Asanagi type stuff. Or like Fan no Hitori. Like I go for one of those. Like I don't Obui. Oh, there was another one, but I don't remember his name. But yeah, Obui, like nah, that is way too light for me. Yeah, I like Chaos Head one, because mostly follow everything, but man, Chaos Child anime was a disaster. God. I love that in my notes, like I just wrote here, like one subject, saying stripping Taiga swimsuit, like Aisaka Taiga from Toradora. Like for some reason I wrote that in my notes. Like this is a topic for whatever reason. Anyway, let's get to an actual topic. Uh, do you guys talking about like otaku rooms, like the one that Takumi has? Because there's this thing of otaku rooms, like of these rooms filled with like a bunch of artwork of anime girls and with figurines and very decorated in anime aesthetics, right? That's what we call an otaku room. And it's not like those disappeared for men. Like we still have men that have those styles of rooms, obviously. But a lot of people were saying that those styles of rooms either have become more of a like more egalitarian type thing with both significant amount of both men and women having those types of rooms, or it straight up just became something a mostly female phenomena. Like whenever you see one of those classic otaku rooms, it's generally like a woman showing it off, and it could be not that like that men don't have these rooms anymore, but that they just don't share them. But a lot of people online have noticed that, especially recently, it's mostly been like a female phenomena to have those types of rooms decorated with anime merchandise. Otaku rooms, best I can do is an empty white room with a lone Link Between Worlds poster. Taiga's tight, but I'm more of an Ami guy. Fucking. Anyway, I got an otaku room. Interesting. But I had something else on that topic to talk about. One sec. Oh yeah. Are any of you old enough like me to remember, like, when it was just normal for dudes to have like posters of naked women in their rooms? Like I remember, like I think both my dad and my uncle had literal posters of like naked ladies on their room, and like during their time and a bit during mine too, that was just a normal thing that guys did. Like this was just considered a normal thing for men to do, right? But nowadays, if a guy had a poster of a naked lady in his room, he would get called like a coomer or a gooner or a porn addict or anything like that. And it's just interesting to realize how much times have changed. That something that was just considered like, oh, it's a normal like guy thing, is now like gonna get you called the worst type of pervert ever. But anyway, yeah, I do not share mine because I got some lewd figures. Yeah, that was a great, and those were great times. I'm really that poor, lol. I actually also have a D-Lit and a Death Smiles poster stored somewhere. I got Sexy Girl from GTA 4 on my room. Nice. But yeah, let's get back to the game and advance a bit before the next topic. The big televisions outside Shibuya Station usually play commercials or promos for famous music artists. Today, however, they were showing a stern-looking newscaster. It was a TV show with the following text at the top of the screen. Intensity 5 earthquake hit Shibuya, at least 200 casualties. Earthquakes were nothing special in Japan. There have been several earthquakes around a 5 on the scale, even around Tokyo. But as more information started to come in, it became apparent that the number of casualties was abnormally high. There was a similar earthquake in 2005, and not a single person died. Compared to that, it was almost unbelievable. This was even more true when you consider that it had happened in Shibuya, the center of the New Gen murders. There'd been an earthquake 3 months ago in Shibuya, too. That one had only been a 3 on scale, but 8 people had died. Was Shibuya cursed? Many of the people who saw the first reports of the quake thought that, even if they didn't say it. But either way, the first special broadcast about the earthquake were ready to go almost as soon as it started. Almost like they were like expecting it to happen. Suspicious. Right now, there wasn't a lot of solid information or clear numbers, but the female newscaster was reading out of a script. The Fire and Disaster Management Agency has confirmed at least 31 deaths. It is expecting that number to grow even higher. The cause of the deaths is currently unknown. There were also reports of a mysterious white light in Shibuya after the earthquake, a shockwave, and the sky turning white. The cameras at Shibuya Scramble Crossing had seen the light, and the big TVs were showing the footage they taken where everything had turned white just after the quake. The white had appeared just as the earthquake did, and at first this was less a white, more of an incredibly intense light. The light covered Shibuya in an instant, and was so bright that no one could keep their eyes open. Anyone from the generation that lived through the last war would have immediately thought it was a nuclear weapon. In fact, there were those who'd seen a white mushroom cloud rising hundreds of meters in the sky above Shibuya, but it had dissipated almost instantly. What the light was, what caused it, and what it had to do with the earthquake were, for the moment, total mysteries. The strangest thing was that the white sky had gone back to normal within an hour, and once more a murky blue color lay above the heads of the people of Shibuya. There was a tiny crack, just a few millimeters, in the asphalt around Dogenza Hill. There were also small cracks in the walls at some of the mixed-use buildings around Center Street. Is this just in like trying to save money on assets? Like, it's a bit unbelievable that none of his figures like broke, you know? I don't know, I just thought they should have put more attention to detail on this. Anyway, my headache hadn't gone away. It took around 2 hours to reformat the hard drive. I'd almost passed out several times from the pain. I'd gone to sleep in the middle of something before, but this was my first time really passing out from something. Still, the pain was a lot better than it was 2 hours ago. I drank some soda to quench my thirst and steel myself to get some work. I put the bed back where it was, giving myself a place to stand up on the floor. It was hard, considering how weak I was, but if I didn't clean it up, I wouldn't even be able to leave the place. If I was trapped inside and unable to escape during Shogun's next attack, not that I knew for sure if the earthquake was his doing, I'd be doomed. I needed a way to get out. When my OS was finally back, I headed over to my computer and installed ESO. Tried logging into Bazelard. It's still there. Yes! Hooray! Nightheart's still there. His equipment and everything are all safe. Yes! Yes! I was so excited that I tried to stand up and raise my fist in the air, but I was too exhausted. Still, I was so happy to see that such an important part of me hadn't disappeared after all. Now then, with that done, it was time to see what had actually happened. Personally, I wanted an apology and compensation for whoever was responsible. It felt like an earthquake, but there were so many things that didn't make sense. I looked to see if Green was playing, but he wasn't. Oh god, imagine if he was one of the 200 people that died. Oh god, I really hope not. I went to our usual chat room, though it was harder with my bookmarks gone, and he wasn't there either. What good was he if he wasn't here when I needed him? Dude, you do understand that maybe he died, right? An earthquake happened. Jesus. Ended up checking the top page of Taboo instead. More than 200 dead in Shibuya. Maybe now he realized. The article read Shibuya casualties over 200. There had been an earthquake from the look of it. It was a 5 on scale. There were an awful lot of casualties though. Supposedly the number was likely to go even higher than 200. There was other stuff too about how the sky above Shibuya had temporarily turned white, or a big mushroom cloud above the city, but nobody seemed sure what they had to do with the earthquake. And 8chan was talking about it too. Most comments were things like Shibuya again or Shibuya screwed. There were videos uploaded too, and I could see what the cameras in Scramble Crossing had recorded. This isn't just an earthquake, is it? I'd felt an incredible headache when the quake hit. No, it was way worse than just a headache. Felt like my brain was boiling over. And even 2 hours later, there was still an aching pain, and I still felt exhausted. Maybe that's what happened if somebody stuck you in a microwave. If that was the case, maybe my ideas about this being some kind of electromagnetic wave attack from Shogun weren't just delusions. Then I heard a noise I recognized from my PC. It was the sound of somebody joining the chat room. Might have been Grin. I turned my eyes toward the chat window to ask him the details. Of course it's fucking Shogun. Why wouldn't it be? Ah! A scream slipped from my lips. Why would he show up now? Had he been reading my thoughts after all? My hand was shaking on my mouse. The rest of my body had frozen with fear. Even the pain in my head was gone. They even want to look at the word Shogun, but I couldn't take my eyes off the monitor. I wanted to leave the chat room, but it was like my mind had left my body. I couldn't even move the mouse. I felt the prickling on my neck. I was being watched again. It was the gaze of God. Or maybe it wasn't God, but Shogun looking at me from satellite orbits. Wanted to run away. But where? He could find me anywhere in Japan. Hey, it's been a while. That was the first thing he said. He was talking like he was greeting an old friend. But I never remember being his friend. I bit my lip and stared at the characters on the screen. But after he spoke, I found myself able to move again. I grabbed my phone. It was just past 3 p.m. She might still be in class, but Remy might be able to help me, believing that was my only choice. I called Remy's number. It was easy to find because it was one of only a few in my contacts. Save me, Remy. Do you hate me? Remy, please speak up. It hurt to breathe. I couldn't think. Remy wasn't picking up. The phone kept ringing and ringing. Why, don't you always show up when I'm in trouble? Why aren't you here now? I'm sending you a present. A present? You're sending me another one of those pictures? And this time you're going to make me out to be the new gen killer, aren't you? No, I'm not the killer. Felt like a fish that had flopped onto the land. I wasn't getting enough oxygen. My head felt like it was full of fuzz. My only hope was Remy. I gripped the phone tighter, praying and focusing on every sound that came out of the receiver. It picked up. Help! Help me! The person you're calling is not available. Oh god. I hope you like it. Voicemail? Oh no. I hung up the phone, disappointed. I wrapped my arms around myself to keep steady. My body had started to shake. I was more afraid of Shogun than I thought I was. Of course I was. He was pretending to be disabled. He was a murderer who'd killed 5 people 5 times. And that was his next target. Please help me. Taku. Remy. Like it was planned from the start, like the cry of my heart had been heard, Remy had come to save me. She flung open the door and came racing inside. Remy, help me! Remy looked at me for a moment and then looked around the room. She saw instantly that the computer was the cause of my fear and began to type at the keyboard with an angry look on her face. Yeah, that's definitely a positive delusion. Shut up, jerk. You leave Taku alone. You just need to tell it to him straight. Remy turned back to me and smiled. That will get rid of him. Was that really true? Remy didn't think it was that big a deal, but maybe that was just because she didn't know a lot about the internet. Wouldn't that just make him even more mad? Especially somebody like Shogun. I gulped and waited for Shogun's next words. They came quickly. I'll kill you. Yeah, that's definitely a delusion. Shogun left the room. Current members won. There was silence. Oh no. I knew that would make him mad. That last sentence sounded really pissed off. He's all talk. It's not like he's going to come all the way here or anything. Anyway, Taku, are you okay? I'm sorry, I saw that you called. I was on my way here, so I couldn't answer. I got worried about you after the earthquake and ran straight over. I'm glad I came. Even as she talked, I couldn't take my eyes off the monitor. The words, "I'll kill you," frightened me more than I could say. No, no. It's fine, I'm here for you now. You don't need to worry about a thing. What did you do? Kill me. He'll kill me. We need to run. Calm down, he's not gonna kill you. You're being silly, Taku. Suddenly, Remy fell silent. Her eyes narrowed as she looked up at the ceiling. What's wrong? Whose eyes are those? Oh God, oh God. She whispered, her expression twisted, and she put her hands up to her head in pain. My head suddenly hurts. Huh? It feels like it's going to split. It hurts. She fell to the ground as if unable to bear the pain. She shook her head frantically from left to right. Why did it suddenly... No. I looked up at the ceiling. Beyond it to where there might be a satellite. Was Shogun attacking? Ah! It hurts so much. It's going to split. It's going to split open. Ah! And then blood dripped from her mouth. The moan suddenly stopped and her body shook. She fell headfirst onto the floor. Oh, thanks for the donation, Gummy Gun. 10 best cute and funny cake, and then best anime girls to... I thought I told you this, but I already registered this idea. Like, we're going to be doing those lists, Gummy Gun. It's just that I need some time, you know. But don't worry, I heard you the first time. I already registered this. We are going to do those lists. Jesus Christ, is Remy fucking dead? Remy? There was no answer. She wasn't moving at all. She'd been killed. Shogun's electromagnetic wave attack from the satellite had killed her. It was such a quiet way to murder. He'd killed Remy without making a sound. Yeah, just saying top 10 booty, anime booty for regular anime. Okay. Okay, we're going to have to do 2 lists then. Okay. That's fair. He'd killed Remy without making a sound, smell, or anything else that would let you detect him. And the silence only made it more horrifying. There was nowhere to run. I dropped to my knees right there and tried shaking her shoulder. Wake up, Remy. There was nowhere to run anywhere on Earth. Don't leave me. Shogun could attack me anywhere I went. This has to be a delusion. Yeah, it fucking is. Came back to my senses and saw that I was in front of the computer monitor. Called it. No, Gamigan, I'm not going to make a two-part series. I'm just going to make like one video for one concept and one video for another, because anytime you put fucking part 2 or any part of like a title, people are less likely to click on it. So I'll just make like one video that will be like top 10 lolly booties in anime, and then like, or top 10 lolly cakes in anime, and then one that's like top 10 anime girl cakes in anime. Well, that's kind of you get the point. Top 10 like cakes in anime or something like that. Female cakes? I'll have to decide on a title, but yeah, no two-parter, just two different concepts. But yeah, I'm going to have to BRB, and when I come back, I'm going to get caught up with the comments, and then we're going to talk about something else. So yeah, just give me a moment. Okay, let's get caught up with the comments. It's Deedlit in a swimsuit, so I guess it counts as Gunnar poster. Because I just do not care. I'll keep sexy girls on my door. They can call me a pervert all they want. See, I'm the biggest Gunnar. That's pretty base, Gummy Gum, but I really don't think you're the biggest Gunnar, like, even here, honestly. Best elf, by the way. Then, the 300 doing something. But you also play the Taiga and anime fighting game I have. Oh yeah, I saw that there was an anime fighting game featuring Taiga and a lot of other characters. The only problem is that it's only for like the PS3, so unless I get like an emulator, I can't play it on the PC. I can play, I think, the one featuring Saya, like because I believe that's on Steam, but I can't play the one featuring Taiga, sadly. Would be mad funny if it turned out bro was trapped in Devil Survive. Imagine. You guys hear by 2050 they'll make even more plastic, making so microplastics will increase in the water and everything. I guess they just don't care, only care but the money, the governments. As much as I understand the concern, that just sounds like alarmism, Gummy Gun. Like a lot of people. No, you know what? This is too controversial a topic to get to. All I'll say is that you're correct. More plastic will be made, which in turn will get more microplastics, which will like definitely have an impact. I'll just say that I don't believe that impact will be as dramatic as some people think it will. Top 10 anime girl cakes. Toho Fellas, the new Hifu album announced, by the way. 4 new songs and a few remixes. We can also say for top lolly, Cunny Cakes also, because the word lolly, big shadow band, the word for video names. In that case, I can just do something like this. What most YouTubers do with these banned words. Like, it's no big deal. Oh wait, just a question. How do you like Steins Gate? When I first watched it, you were late for that show only 7 months ago. I watched Steins Gate, the original one, and Steins Gate Zero, and a lot of people don't like Zero, and I do understand, but I really loved both of them. I really think both, like Steins Gate, the original, and Zero are great anime. And no, I didn't play Atomic Hearts. Like, I didn't play most AAA or AAA level games because, like, they're just too expensive for me. The one with Saya is called Neutral plus Bellasters, I think. The one with Taiga is Dengeki Bunko Fight Climax. It also has a mobile gacha RPG. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. But anyway, yeah. Let's get to the curse topic finally. So the topic I wanted to like tackle for a really long time is the topic of why I think unironically that the games industry should start appealing to chuds. Like unironically, I believe that should be the case. And like a lot of people are going to say, oh, what do you mean appealing to chuds? And I'm just going to rip the fucking band-aid. Like what I mean is having waifus. Like straight up, like Western games should invest in waifus. And the reason I say that is because like a lot of these games are trying to push for these very predatory practices, right? With microtransactions and like with battle passes and all that. But what a lot of those Western games don't understand and why most fail is exactly because they refuse to do like any type of waifu or sexual content. And the reason they do so is not just because of like of like woke politics or anything like that. It's because of pride. If you if you ever like say that to a game developer, the answer that most of them will give, from what I've seen, is that they will say, "Oh no, but uh, those are the tactics of desperate people. Like, we are better than this. We are above this. You know." Like, we really don't need to stoop to that level, you know? They consider themselves above that. And, like, no, you're not above that. Like, maybe if you were like some of those, like a couple of Western developers are, like, you were doing well, you were making money, maybe you could say that, but a lot of these studios are struggling. They don't have money, they don't have the luxury to think of themselves as all high and mighty, you know? They think that they are like these freedom fighters that are resisting like this evil objectification of women, when in reality they are just like you know, those university kids that think they're too good for like McDonald's or like Starbucks because they have a degree, right? That's the equivalent of this for the games industry. So yeah, people need to get their heads out their asses. Need to realize that they're not activists about to change the world. They're not like superheroes like that are resisting some great evil by doing this. No, they're just desperate people refusing to take desperate measures. Like, just swallow your pride and put waifus in the game. Put waifu content in Western games. Like, the Western games industry just straight up should start appealing to chuds in that way. Like, it's not a guarantee that it will work, that will get like super successful or like anything like that. But you guys are desperate, and this is a tactic that has proven itself to work quite consistently. So the fact that you're not using it because of some stupid pride is moronic. You know? In fact, they're doing like the very opposite. They're still trying to be like, oh, at least we own the chuds, while all the games that appeal to the so-called chuds are actually getting money and they aren't. Like, did you see in the new like Halo remake? Like, they not only altered the story, which would already be bad enough, but they altered it so that they could add like some fucking ugly girl boss type character. Genuinely, is like they are fucking allergic to money. I don't understand. But whatever. That's enough. Chud's Cure Anime for today. Let's get caught up with the comments. That game was super popular when it came out, Gummy, but it fell for the flavor of the month syndrome, and everyone forgot about it a few months later. That's no shame. There's no shame in that happening, Akira. That's unfortunately just a symptom of people's decreasing attention spans. That's just normal. Steins Gate Zero was awful for anime. Should play the visual novel. That was great. Love the Kani timeline with Mao. Okay. Coldest take ever? It's a cold take, but it's one that the people who need to hear it refuse to hear it, you know? It's unfortunately true for a lot of things. Because there's no sexy girls. Did you know they made Penguin Mean Gay Far Cry 6 DLC? It was crazy. I'm playing Far Cry 6 DLC. Yeah, girls are doing that to themselves with OnlyFans. Exactly. Like, when games do it, or when media in general is some evil like thing objectifying women, when women do it to themselves, no, it's fine. Like, but aren't you like genuinely hurting not only yourself but other women by doing this and making this opera? No. But it's we us doing it. It's us directly benefiting more, so it's fine. It's stupid. But anyway, they are letting any failed uni student in these days. Uh, you mean the games industry or like Starbucks? Western games industry will take a lot of cleaning to like the Halo 1 remake epic fail. Anyway, that's enough of that for today. Let's continue with the game. Rimi's comment was gone. Shogun's "I'll kill you" was gone too. I looked around the room and Rimi's corpse was nowhere to be seen. It was a relief to know she hadn't been killed. And yet it's empowered, then they say OnlyFans girls. Fortunately, from what I've seen, that narrative is changing, and some people were telling me that today, like, this isn't a common perception anymore, which I do hope that's true. But I was disappointed to know that she really hadn't come. Why? Why didn't you come? Can't you see how scared I am? Shogun had already left the chat. The only traces of him were the 4 lines he left. I didn't even want to see the words he'd written, so I quickly left the chat room myself. I was still shaking. Shogun was taunting me. What was so fun about stalking me like this? Did this mean that I'd been chosen as the next victim, and Shogun was finally ready to put his plan into action? Or that I was the perfect patsy to take the fall for his murders? Somebody, save me! Save me! I looked to post-awakening Seiratan, pleading for her to save me. I'm scared to be alone. I didn't want to be alone. I wanted somebody to be by my side. I wanted somebody to protect me. That's right, school. Save me, white woman, save me. God, I remember this meme. Fucking hell. If I go to school, Rimi was there. I couldn't handle being alone and scared anymore. I stripped off the sweatshirt I always wore when I was at home, quickly changed into my uniform and left the base. The cold wind outside made my headache feel a little better. Shibuya seemed more tense than usual. Maybe it was the earthquake. You think? I could hear the sounds of sirens in the distance. When one stopped, another started. I couldn't tell if they were fire trucks or ambulances. Probably both. Yamate Street, just one street over from where I was walking, was at a standstill. Oh, hello, Sikalo. Welcome to the stream. I have a feeling they're just scared of fictional girls because they feel makes look standards go higher and females hate the challenge, like no one hates girls more than other girls. True and real. Unfortunately. Like, man, if you had not played Steins Gate, Maho Timeline, you're missing out in visual novel. Again, we'll get to that. Eventually. Several cars had been in head-on collisions and abandoned where they sat. There was no sign of the drivers. The abandoned cars were blocking the road and causing a traffic jam. The other drivers were furiously banging on their horns. As I slowly and unsteadily walked toward the school, a dog ran past me, howling. It was a chihuahua with bloodshot eyes. Its tiny body was running at full speed, dragging a leash behind it. Drew was pouring from its open mouth. Had it gotten separated from its owner? As I watched it distractedly, I stumbled over something and almost fell. There was a crack on the ground. That's what I tripped on. I'll need to think about this later, actually. Did the earthquake cause it? I stopped and looked up at the sky. There were several clouds now, lazily traveling through the muddy blue sky. Supposedly, the sky had gone white, like an aurora. God damn it, 1 sec. My throat is so dry right now. Just a sec. Supposedly, the sky had gone white, like an aurora, right after the quake, but there were no traces left of that now. This wasn't the Shibuya I knew. I felt really tense and uneasy. Actually, Gamigan said something that I think I should address before, we continue. I think I'm going to start focusing more. Obviously, I'm not abandoning the other games I'm playing, but I think I'm going to start focusing more on the games that people have been, requesting. So what I plan to do is that I'll try to finish Cry of Fear, and then somebody requested me to play Devil May Cry. So I'm going to put the other games on hold, and I'm going to focus on finishing Cry of Fear, and then on finishing Devil May Cry, right? And in conjunction with that, I'll also be focusing on chaoshead. You'll see more frequent chaoshead streams too. Chaoshead is a visual novel, so I can't focus fully on it, but I will have it accompanying another game. In general, those streams will get more frequent because I want to focus on fulfilling some requests before we advance things. So instead of going for Stellar Blade, we're going on that route, so we can more quickly get to both finish these requests and get to Umineko, right? And then after we start Umineko, then I think I'll start playing Stellar Blade. Probably when Stellar Blade 2 releases. Let's be real. What else? Yeah, like I said, I won't abandon the other games, for example Volcano Princess or what's the name, Little Witch Nobeta, but I'll be playing then on the chaoshead weeks, you know. But yeah, that's the plan. I want to focus more on the requests before, in order to finish them already, so we can get to other things without having too much pressure on me, you know. Anyway, I feel like we need more guys in Western games industry and lots of guy chuds in the game industry. Yeah, must be like a desert where you are right now in heat. Not really. It's just that my throat is quite dry for me speaking too much. OG DMC1. No, I'm not playing the OG. I'm not playing OG Devil May Cry, and I'm not playing Devil May Cry 2. I'm skipping right to 3 because both of those would be headaches to stream for different reasons. So I'm starting with 3. Sorry, but I'm not going in order. I know it's not very gamer of me, but Like, I want to string a Devil May Cry that will not give me a headache, you know? Sorry, I have too many of those now. Okay. Uh, play Battletoads. No. Umineko will take forever. Yeah, like that's why I want to get it to it before the end of the year, actually. Uh, yeah, Stellar Blade is great, but Umineko will be awarded such an amazing story. Higurashi is still better in my opinion. Let's go, Devil May Peak. Yeah. Yeah, I want to get to that as soon as possible. But yeah, let me just take a sip of water before we continue. Okay. I felt really tense and uneasy. It wasn't just the earthquake, it wasn't just the headache. It wasn't just those things, it felt like a terrible urge was going to overcome me at any second. Just walking down the street for some reason made me want to kill someone. By the time I reached the school gate, the terror and fear within me had grown even stronger. I felt so cold that my body wouldn't stop shaking. My headache had come back. I could see a crowd near the third year students building. I looked for Remy there. Strangely, they were all looking up at the school building. Oh god. Hey Taku! Misumi ran up to me. Good, I could ask him where Remy was. I didn't realize you'd come to school today. No, I guess that doesn't matter now. He looked pale and his expression was deadly serious. It was rare to see Misumi so badly shaken. What had happened? It's bad, man. It's really bad. Bad? What was bad? She was sick, right? I heard they found out about her mental illness and she went even crazier. She was saying she could fly, just crazy. Crazy. I'd love to see somebody die. I'm sure it's disgusting and totally awesome. I hope she falls soon. I could hear voices all around me saying those things. Could it be? A terrible thought ran through my mind. I looked up slowly to where the rest of the students were looking. At the edge of the roof was a girl. She was holding the D sword just like she had in her concert. She was standing there like she was offering a prayer to God in heaven. It was Ayase Kishimoto. It lurks in the shadow of a wicked heart, a thing which cannot be seen. Ayase Kishimoto was feeling the wind on her body. It was cold, with just the slightest hint of winter. Her expression was pained, and beads of sweat were dripping down her cheeks. I tried to get away from it, but this unending nightmare. Suimei Academy's roof was surrounded by an almost 2-meter high fence, to stand in the narrow 30-centimeter space on the outside of it. She'd been there for almost 10 minutes. One more step and she'd fall off the roof of a 4-story building. Below her was a crowd of students watching with bated breath. Shall someday become a blade and slash apart my body? They called for the police and an ambulance, but perhaps because of the earthquake a few hours ago, no one had arrived yet. The teachers were running around trying to get mats ready if the worst happened. A shield of indifference. helps the people avoid the flames of war. But Ayase stood tall and still, like the chaos below had nothing to do with her. If anything, it looked like she was deliberately cutting herself off from the world below. Her head was tilted up at the sky, and her eyes were closed. She looked almost like a young priestess praying to her god. Her body was completely motionless in the slight wind on the roof. An impressive feat of balance considering the sword she was carrying was almost her own height. The enemy on this newborn battlefield is the wicked one within the heart. The sword, her D sword, was flashing with a pale light, like it was having trouble breathing, as his own breath seemed to be in sync with the light. As her own breathing was pained, she let out a small, soft whisper. Evil can sometimes have a will of its own, and manifest in our world. The words she whispered were quickly drowned out by the wind. As they opened her eyes, turning toward the amber-red sky above the Shibuya high-rises. This world is filled with evil delusions. Everyone loves the misery of others. Close my eyes, I put my hands over my ears, but it doesn't help. They won't leave me alone, they never have. As she whispered, she brought the huge sword to her chest. She embraced it with both arms. Strangely, the sharp-looking blade didn't pierce her skin at all. I wanted to go home, to the other world where the Great Will lives. For that, I accepted everything and ripped apart my heart. The dream of being a vessel of chaos. As his expression twisted with sadness, tears silently fell from her eyes. The wind blew then off her face and into the sky. But Gladiale is stirring within the womb. There's no time left. But I can't find them. I can't find them at all. The door to heaven, the sage, the guide, the 7 divine punishments. Is the legend of the Black Knights true? Okay, this is all... Maybe you could extract some meaning out of this from like that is predicting some events of the story and etc. But to me, it just sounds like complete gibberish for now. I've been sung so many songs. If that's not enough, then, O Great Will, I'll tell you what I shall do. Ayase slowly spread out her arms, as if she was trying to embrace the sky, as if showing herself to some god high in his heaven. I shall fly. The sword's pale pulsation grew in intensity. Ayase closed her eyes again. A final tear fell from the corner of her eye. Please, I offer you this vessel. So take my soul. And the girl stepped forward without the slightest hesitation. There was nothing left there to support her body. Take it to where it belongs. She felt the cold wind gently blow against her cheek. She looked down beneath her. And saw a floating door rising toward her. Beyond it was the sky she sought. All I could do was watch, helplessly. Ayase spread out her hands and slowly stepped off the roof, like there was an invisible staircase there. Screams and loud murmurs rose from the crowd of gawkers. No longer supported by anything, she fell, like a puppet with its strings cut. Everything was happening in slow motion. Ayase's body fell. It fell so slowly, but there was no stopping it. She was going to die. Ayase was going to die. There was no way I could help her. If she fell from that height, she died for sure. The ground below her was solid concrete. Her bones would shatter, her organs would be smashed, her brain and dark red blood would be splashed all over the place. If there was at least a flower bed there. If there was a soft earth instead of concrete, then maybe she'd survive. Didn't want to see anybody die. Tried to close my eyes. And then I felt it, the prickling at the back of my neck. I turned, nobody was looking at me. Everyone's looking up towards Ayase or down at the ground. Whose eyes are those? I heard a noise, the sound of someone hitting the ground. Never heard that sound before. It was less loud than I thought it'd be. No way. Misumi was standing next to me, watching in shock. He was looking where Ayase had fallen, but instead of showing fear or sorrow, his expression was of surprise. It wasn't just Misumi either. The whole crowd of gawking onlookers had fallen silent, like they weren't sure what had just happened. She's alive! Huh? Alive? Oh, he's getting control over his powers. He's starting to control his schizophrenia powers. Ayase was lying on the ground. Had her bones been shattered? I couldn't tell. Had her organs been smashed? I didn't know. Her brains weren't splattered. Damn it. Her brains weren't splattered all over the place. Her dark red blood wasn't anywhere to be seen either. A soft but clearly audible moan escaped her lips. She was alive. She had passed out and wasn't moving at all, but she didn't seem to be injured. The most I could see was a small trickle of blood on her forehead. She'd fallen all the way from the top of the roof. But now she was almost unharmed. She was lying on top of the flower bed. Flower bed? Had there been a flower bed there? He's starting to believe! Anyway, one sec. Yeah, Higurashi When Then Cry has a great anime after all. Not say the same for the Umineko one, but at least it will make a great AMV in the future. Looking forward to that. Just joking, I wouldn't wish Battletoads even on my worst enemy, honestly. I mean the novel, the first Higurashi anime by Dean is decent too. Battletoads is like something you would use on a prisoner of war with how brutal the game is. Damn. Poor Ayase. Kinda feel like Higurashi visual novel stretching it out a little. That's why I love Higurashi anime by Dean. Yeah, that's the thing I'm going to say. And this may be disappointing to people, but if I ever do cover Higurashi on the channel, it will be the anime. Like, I'm not playing the visual novel. And it isn't because of any, like, specific reasons related to the visual novel. It's just that there's already so much stuff to play. Like, discounting everything I mentioned before, right? There's still, like, a secret visual novel I want to play. There are still some, like, RPG Maker games I want to play. There's, like, Valkyria Chronicles. There's still, like, Chaos Child. So, yeah, there's just so much already that, like, it's just no. Okay? If I do cover Higurashi, I'll cover the anime and probably make like a waifu list or something. Like, I'm absolutely not adding another long-ass, multiple chapter visual novel to the list. Again, I know this will be disappointing, but I'm sorry, that's what I'm willing to do. Just the anime. Bruh, Umineko is 100 times worse with the padding, though. The family dinner on the first arc alone didn't need to go for that long. But I do believe it will take a lot of work to actually make a great Umineko anime. A bunch of it is chuny talk, but I think it has some meaning, yeah. Just find it more interesting how murders and mystery happen in Umineko visual novel than the Higurashi one, even if Higurashi is my #1 anime. Speaking of RPG Maker, the sequel games are getting animated H scenes now. Nice. Oh, and don't worry, like with the sequel games, we'll not only be getting to that, but we even have like an assigned string like segment for it now. We'll eventually get to it too. It's sad what happened to Kokonea when they cry. It probably will never continue. To what? Kokonea when they cry? What? Oh, but when I try to make my Tupa waifu... Oh, but when I try to make my Tupa waifu, they lock me in a padded cell. As they should. Like, Tupas are creepy as shit, as we tackled before. Another great visual novel made by the same guy with no filler is this great visual novel, Iwahima. Okay, I'm registering that. Iwahime, very underrated visual novel, very dark story and great. We can look into that later then. And if that's the true title, then let me just update this. Iwahime. Okay. Be looking into that later. In the great Corpse Party games you never played. Oh yeah, we need to get to those two. So yeah, no Higurashi, like that already has like tons of anime adapting it. I'm getting to the anime, and I'm getting to these other fucking games. Oh, have you heard of Lie of Kalen? Full 3D game or RPG maker, and it runs smoothly. He means Siconia when they... okay. Then, a lot of things I need to look into like later then. Fucking... No. No! Fuck! Sorry. I'm getting frustrated with YouTube's UI. Lies of Kalen and Siconia when they cry. Anyway, and Corpse Party 2 coming out next year. Great, after all this. This time for sure. Yeah, after all this time, we're finally getting Corpse Party 2. Then, did it really take this long? Jesus. Am I correct in saying that these results were very different than initial expectations? We took our first step forward towards evolution. None of us was told anything about 3-digit casualties. Was there a problem with the plan? No. I'd like the both of you to think back on the history of human evolution. If you are trying to tell me that evolution always involves some form of sacrifice, then fine. The casualties are irrelevant. What's important is that this wasn't the plan. This outcome was within expected parameters, at least in my mind. Then why didn't you inform us beforehand? It takes time and preparation to keep the wrong information from reaching the public. We aren't sacrificing this much money and this many lives so that you can entertain yourself. Don't forget that. Don't worry, as I said, this was within expected values. Before long, you won't have to worry about getting enough votes during elections or having your overzealous evangelism attract the attention of local prosecutors. Before long, we'll change Japan. No, the world. Forever. Silence. If the Committee of 300 finds out about this act of treason, we're all finished. Okay, well, now time to finally understand what the hell Gamigan's talking about. Committee of 300. A mysterious secret organization with only 300 members, set to manipulate the world from the shadows, the unseen rulers, so the Illuminati basically. Royal families, intelligence agencies, banks, and other huge companies, and the other secret societies that you often see in conspiracy theories are said to be but servants of the committee, and its influence extends to almost all the world's corporations, police, and scientific organizations. Its existence, however, is nothing more than a rumor. Some say that the ultimate goal of the Committee of 300 is the Human Cultivation Project. The construction of a new world order where the entirety of humanity becomes their cattle. The chosen elite will slaughter all but 1 billion people, and this 1 billion will be kept as their slaves. How interesting. This sounds a lot like another group I've heard about. Hmm. Probably just a coincidence then, though. The Greater Big Bad of Science Adventure. Okay, okay. Your job is to ensure the plan proceeds as scheduled, nothing less and nothing more. We'll ensure this gets covered up. I'm aware. So, let's hear your report on the second generation. I'm sure the two of you will be completely satisfied. Noah, too, will in fact be. I ran at top speed from school to the park. By the time I got there, I was too out of breath to move another inch. My lungs were in desperate need of oxygen. As I gasped for air, I took a quick glance around the park. There was nobody here. The people I was afraid of, Shogun and Yua, were nowhere to be seen. Relieved, I decided to catch my breath. It was almost evening. The sky was slowly shifting from blue to the color of twilight. The park was as calm and quiet as ever, as if all the craziness at school had never happened. In the end, Ayaz's jump was treated as an attempted self-deletion from the game. This is still like an all-ages string YouTube. She was carried off in an ambulance. I had no way of knowing what had happened to her after that. Afterward, I given up on trying to find Remy and ran all the way here instead. Couldn't get what I had just seen out of my head. When Ayase jumped, when Ayase had fallen, I was sure she was dead. But when she'd survived, I didn't know how. Oh, but she survived. She was breathing. She hadn't looked injured at all. A fall from that height should have killed anyone, but she had miraculously survived. Because she'd fallen right on top of a soft flower bed. But that was impossible, physically impossible. There had been no flower bed there. Right until the moment she hit the ground, there had been an asphalt parking lot. A bunch of the teachers' cars had been parked there. So where had that flower bed come from? Did I do that? Did I just do that? God, please don't turn this into modern dialogue, please. I remember having a delusion that she might survive if there was a flower bed below. But that didn't mean, could a delusion that only lasted an instant like that really become reality? Maybe I really did have some kind of special power. I'd already seen something similar happen when Ayase split into two people before. Could I even do something as incredible as making a flower bed appear out of nowhere? Even without a D-sword? And that flower bed was still there after she'd fallen too. When the teachers had run over to her, they left footprints in the dirt. The flowers, I think they were the same flowers the one in the courtyard, had snapped at the stands when the EMTs had walked over them. It was probably still there too. My delusion had become reality and stayed that way. It hadn't disappeared like the other Ayase. And what was more, everyone had accepted it as natural. No one wondered why there was a flower bed there. Had I done that? Hey, huh? I heard a sharp voice calling out from behind me. Turned around just in time to see a hand reach out and grab me by the collar. Before I even had time to resist, I was slammed hard into a piece of playground equipment. I hit my back hard and moaned in pain. It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who made that flower bed. It was Senna who attacked me out of nowhere. She was yanking my collar hard too. I couldn't breathe. Tried flailing my arms around, but she didn't let go at all. There was an intense light in her eyes that might have been murderous. I shivered, shaking my head frantically, thinking she was going to kill me. Don't lie to me. Senna's hot breath tickled my cheek. Her face was close enough that I worried she might bite me. Senna glared at me from up close. Yeah, that's definitely a delusion. And something soft was pressed against my lips. Couldn't understand what had just happened. I couldn't breathe. Felt like I was going to pass out. Tried to run, but Senna was holding me too tight for me to even move. Something soft and wet slipped between my lips. It licked at my gums and intertwined itself with my tongue, having its way with my mouth. How can you describe a kiss this lewdly? Holy shit. I didn't know what was going on, but for some reason it felt so good. It still hurt to breathe though. I felt like I was about to pass out. Just before everything went black, whatever it was finally withdrew from my mouth. Senna's lips were wet with saliva. The murder in her eyes was gone, replaced with something like lust. Had she just kissed me? You are the chosen one. I need your help. Come fight with me, together. I won't let you refuse. I didn't understand what she was saying at all, but she sounded angry. She brought her face close to mine once more. Is this like how like the R word option like feels from the girl's perspective when like Green does that in Black Souls? Like, is that what they see? Probably not. Sorry. She pushed her lips against me hard, forcing her tongue into my mouth. Her hot breath and sweet saliva both poured into me. I am a priestess, born to offer my pure blood to the chosen one. I wonder idly what age game she was taking that from. We cannot win this battle without you. Now, let us make it the contract of blood. Senna bit my lip hard. I winced in pain as the taste of blood filled my mouth. I want you. This wasn't how you were supposed to ask when you wanted something from someone. None of what she was saying made any sense either. But the way it seemed like she was almost raping me was really... Then in the first stream I said that I identified a lot with Takumi, but thinking about it, I actually see you guys a lot in him instead, you know? Like, this feels a lot like something you guys would say instead. Anyway. Hey, don't ignore me. I came back to my senses. Senna was still grabbing me hard and pushing me against the playground equipment. Her face was still right up against mine. Our eyes met and I could feel my own face getting hot. Oh, I asked who taught you how to do that. No one. Like, I just did that, in a win. Because I am like, Ray Palpatine. I'm that much of a Gary still. I never felt so insulted in my life. Oh, I'll do you guys one better. No, you know what? I was going to call you all Redditors because I think that's worse than calling you all Takumis. But no, I'm not that evil. At least not today. I had no memory of being asked that at all. Had it happened while I was fantasizing about her forcing herself on me? I had no idea what was going on, but Senna was still shaking me violently. Who was it? Answer me! Do you have anything to do with the Cosmic Church of the Divine Lights? The what, girl? The fuck are you talking about? Cosmic Church of the what now? I shook my head frantically. I couldn't breathe. I was going to suffocate. I was passing out, dying. I couldn't stay awake. Just before I passed out, Senna suddenly let go of me. I collapsed where I stood. You know, this reminds me of a manga I read when I was younger called R.G. Veda. I'm going to put the name here on chat. Where... Weird. That was strange. But anyway. And in this manga, there was a girl that she was a guard, right? That was tasked with defending this castle and this princess, and she intercepted this ninja that was trying to assassinate a person she was protecting. And like when she caught him, she hung him by the neck, right? And she was trying to interrogate him, to ask who had sent him and what he was doing there. And like he couldn't answer because he was being suffocated. And after she finished like killing him, like the other guard like asked her this directly, like you like, even if he wanted to, he couldn't respond to your questions because you were suffocating him, right? And then she just walked away. And she wondered with a smirk on her face. Was that perhaps... No, sorry. Did you perhaps do that on purpose? And like like the guard doesn't respond, but you can see her smirking, like kind of hinting that yeah, she was just torturing the guy for fun. Like saying, "Oh no, if you answer my question, I will let you live." When obviously he can't, so she was fully intending to kill him no matter what he did, you know? It was, I think, to show that she was either sadistic or she had like some revenge motive against the guy or against his faction. But anyway, let me get caught up with the comments before we continue. And I think this is actually like a good point for us to pause and talk about another subject before continuing. I got good news. Bleach News fully uncensored Yoruichi booty in the next part, Bleach anime. Oh, I saw that. A lot of people were commenting about it. Hell yeah. Probably just a coincidence. And then Anonymous Code straight up name drops Cicada 33110 and other conspiracies. True, but I was talking about something else. But anyway, I'll be buying the limited edition Corpse Party 2 since I'm such a big fan. Oh, that's pretty cool. The only game I ever bought the limited edition of, I think, was like Little Witch Nobita. But yeah, I totally understand being this much of a fan or something. Anonymous Code, I was kind of disappointed in just staying in the same world. The only thing I know about Anonymous Code was like a controversy that was caused by one of the characters. Because one of the girls wasn't even like sexualized, you know? She wore very normal clothes, but her boobs were like too big, you know? And so people were saying that, you know, throwing the usual like comments. And it sparked a whole discussion because, yeah, but her character isn't lewd, like she isn't put in very lewd situations, and she is fully clothed all the time. So what is sexualized? Just her body type? Can't she just have big boobs without being sexualized? It turned into a whole discussion. But anyway, we all got these swords, Takumi. Yours is just time. Lol. That was the lewdest kiss ever. Lol. Takumi is my worst turned up to about 13. Never felt so insulted in my life. Takumi got a grape fetish. Oh wait, you're the rogue warrior. Be careful or else I'll downvote you. Oh no, the horror. Oh no, she's into Scientology. That'd be the worst, honestly. It's crazy, but some girls in real life got a being grape fetish, which is very unsettling. Yeah. RG Veda, like Rig Veda, ancient Hindu myths, spelled RG, but said Rig. Yeah, the manga I think was taking inspiration from that. It had a lot of like Indian inspiration, you know. So that it's probably like what it's referencing. I mean, kinks are just kinks as long as things stay as just roleplay. If you're saying we're all takumis, then you're saying we got. No, I wasn't saying that. Oh, there's a clamp manga. You are alone on that, Gummy. I've gotten away from my Mossad friends for now. Nice. I saw that Yorichi title card, my normie friends were talking about it. That was Occultic 9, no way. It was an anime first, then got a light novel. Oh, okay, so I was confusing things. Sorry. So, that's Occultic 9, and he was referencing, what? He was referencing Anonymous Code. Okay, so I'm just wrong on this. Like I was talking about Occultic 9 and Anonymous Code. If it's not what I'm thinking about, then I just don't have any information on it. Sorry. Like, bruh, in the anime had an awful ending too. I heard the VN's good though. They're more like the Chad version of Takumi. No, I don't. Fucking no. I was talking about. Whatever, man. Who cares? Fucking hell. But anyway, let me continue with another topic. Oh, this is a good one, actually. Like, you know, I'm not trying to call them out. I'm not saying there's anything like wrong with this. I'd even be a hypocrite to say so since I saved a couple pictures like that. But how do I say this? I do think that like when I see 18 to 19-year-old like sexy cosplayers, I'll be honest, I get a little creeped out. Like I said, there's nothing wrong necessarily with what they're doing. They are like legal adults above the age of consent that can do those things without being a danger to themselves. But like 18 to 19 just feels like too soon to be like doing sexy cosplays, you know? Like it feels like maybe you should wait a few years after you're like 18 to do that, you know? Like evaluate your choices in life and things like that. Just there's no reason to do that like so soon, you know? And like it's not like I'm saying that they can't cosplay at all, but there's a big difference between cosplaying someone like Taiga from Toradora, for example, or like Maka from like Soul Eater, and like cosplaying someone like Kisaki from like Blue Archive, you know? So yeah, it creeps me out a bit. Like it's not again the thing that I think they're doing something wrong, or like that their fans are doing something wrong. It just feels like one of those things that like maybe wait a bit, you know? And yeah, I just disagree with you, Gamigan. I feel like they should wait a bit after turning 18. I'm not throwing out the P word, but it still makes me feel weird. Yeah, again, I don't think it's wrong, but I just think... Oh, you mean like perfect time to cosplay, but not like lewd cosplay. Okay, so I agree with you, Gamigan. Like, there's nothing wrong with cosplaying, like, if you're 18, or even, like, I'll be honest, there's nothing wrong with a 16 or 14-year-old girl cosplaying. Like, it's just the lewd cosplays where I think they should wait a bit more, you know? 20 is the sweet spot for starting, I would say. I agree with you there, Akira. Yeah. So yeah, 20 girl like 20 or below, I would say that it's preferable that they are doing like some more wholesome stuff. Like there are some really cool characters that I wouldn't mind, like that I don't think there's anything wrong with like minors cosplaying. You know, like for example Saber, like her original design, like it's pretty good for like that type of thing. You know, I think you get my point. And yeah, most people seem to agree with me on that. Uh, but yeah, I think a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people got interested in that, so let's actually address it. The reason that I wrote stripping Taiga swimsuits in my notes here is because like there's a scene in Toradora, right, where both Taiga and like Ami are competing in a race, like essentially a swimming competition. And to win, Taiga plays dirty and like rips off Ami's bra and tosses it away, so that she needs to put it back on before starting to swim, like her bikini bra, right? And I was thinking, like, I don't know, maybe someone already made this illustration, but I couldn't find it, so that's why I was thinking it. Like, I was thinking of doing, of someone, doing, like, kinda inverted version of that scene, where, like, Taiga tries to do that, but then, like, Ami, catches on to what she's trying to do and like strips Taiga's school swimsuit instead and tosses it like aside, and she has to like catch it. Just do like kind of an inverted version of the scene. I think it would be interesting, you know. Again, I don't know if somebody has done it already, at least like I haven't seen it, but I think it would be interesting. That's why I wrote it here. Anyway. Occultic 9 had a pretty cool interpretation of ghosts. Oh yeah, I agree. I'm 18, I still get grossed out seeing porn that marketed girls as being 18 or teen. It's so icky. Funny how in Occultic, like, no, I think it's Anonymous Code, the Odd Duck. Funny how Anonymous Code is the Odd Duck in the Science Adventure by getting an anime. No, you mean still Occultic 9. Okay. Funny how Occultic 9 is the Odd Duck in the Science Adventures by getting an anime first and a visual novel last, instead the other way around like the rest of the titles in the series. Okay. No, it feels weird, different from immoral. Yeah, and I think a lot of people need to like understand this distinction. Like, it's not wrong to like criticize and point out like some problems that can occur, but like there's a big difference between like a 20-year-old guy, for example, dating a 12-year-old, and a 25-year-old guy dating an 18-year-old. Because yeah, 25 with 18 is very don't do that. But there's nothing illegal or explicitly like wrong going on there. It's just not advisable. It will 99% of the time just not end well. But with like 20 and 12, it's just straight up no, stop it. Stop it or go to jail. Fuck off. Like, I really wish people had the nuance to interpret that, to being able to distinguish something that's outright wrong from something that's more on the cusp of don't, please, there's no reason for this, like that kind of thing. A little too early. Okay. People just agreeing with me. Yeah. The Mossad friends, they're taking me back. Stripping Taiga, what, she pole dancing? Taiga, what the fuck? Poor Ami, I remember. Speaking of getting freaky on the beach, uh, fucking, what is Gits again? Sorry, I forgot. Gits kind of adapted that infamous scene from the manga. Don't know if I said it already, but sadly there's no nudity, but there's no way they would approve it on JPTV. Obscure dyslexia. Uh, just tell you guys, my dad was 28 and my mom was 18. Truth question, was it normal to date? A different origami. It used to be more common back then. But yeah, what is Gits again? Oh, Ghost in the Shell. Ah, okay, okay, okay. Okay, let's see if there's anything. Oh yeah, yeah, there is. One last topic before I BRB and then continue with the game. You know how in like most marriages, like most marriage ceremonies, the wife throws the bouquet when the at some point in the ceremony, and then like the whoever like whichever woman like picks it up is going to be the one that marries next. Uh, like in a marriage I saw, they decided to invert this and do a guy version. So instead of the guy, the woman throwing it to the other woman, the guy threw it through the marriage bouquet to the other guy, so that whoever caught it, would be marrying next. But as you can imagine, when he threw it, like all the other guys started running, like because they didn't want to be next. Anyway, BRB. Before I do though, I see my friend dating today. He's dating an 18-year-old and he's 27. What do you guys think? I think you should advise him to not go forward with this relationship. This is most likely not going to end well. Like he really should not be doing that. That's what I would advise your friend. Like, don't. But anyway. Anyway, Evil Bookman says break off immediately, sever, block completely, and if he won't sever her, you sever him. I mean, fair. The madman Masamune Shiro shoved a whole explicit lesbian scene in the manga that got removed from every future edition. The new anime is the only one so far that kind of ever adapted that scene. Kinda because they still wear bikini and they don't show the act itself, but it's still pretty clear what's happening. Yeah, I think most relationships do not turn out well, like that, but he will not listen. Like, at least date a 20-year-old man. I'd say he should date someone older, even, like 22, 23, but 20 is like the bare minimum, I would agree. Hoping your friend listens to you, me too. Shion exclusive. Just happy to see you enjoying making what you want. Yeah, he's probably referencing that community post I made. Welcome to the stream, Shion exclusive. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun here on stream. Anyway, yeah, we're going to keep going for like 15 minutes, and then we're going to end things here. Just before I passed out, Senna suddenly let go of me. I collapsed where I stood. I coughed and tried to force as much air into my lungs as I could. Was Senna my enemy after all? Was she working with Shogun too? If so, I had to get out of here. If not, then fine, I'm sorry. Senna saw my confusion and looked momentarily annoyed. Then she sighed. She turned to leave. It looked like she didn't intend to hurt me after all. If that was the case, then... I worked up my courage and wait. He worked up courage? No. I can't be too optimistic. I can't be like, oh no, is Takumi improving? We don't know. We shouldn't speak too soon. I thought she'd ignored me, but she stopped and turned back. She was still frowning, but at least it looked like she would listen to me. What do you mean by power? Senna knew something. She'd asked if I was the one who created the flower bed. Everybody else there ended up thinking that the flower bed had been there from the start, but for some reason Senna knew differently. How did that flower bed... It was your delusion, right? My delusion? Yeah, it was, but it's possible to turn delusions into reality. You slip something that's not real into everyone's vision. In other words, you make people think that the error is real. Okay, this is a part that I never got out of... that I never understood from chaoshead. Like, if someone can, like, kinda, like, explain this to me, I'd be grateful. But, like, in chaoshead, right, from what I understand... what the people with the power can do is that they can, like, quote-unquote, turn illusions into reality by essentially manipulating people's senses, by making them see, hear, and, like, feel, essentially, like, changing their perception and their memories and stuff to make it something that's not there seem real to them. That's how I understand how their powers work. But if that's true, then does that mean that Ayase actually died? Because, like, perception and the physical reality are different. So, sure, you could make everyone, like, see the flower bed and see her survive. Like, you could make everyone perceive that. But it wouldn't actually make that happen. It would just be, you would just be making people live in an illusion, you know? So, does that mean that Ayase actually is dead? And everyone's just acting like she isn't because of, like, Takumi's power? I don't know. Maybe I have a uh, like wrong idea of how his powers work and the ones of the other like people with these swords. But if I'm understanding this correctly, like what happens either is more tragic than people are like making it out to be in the visual novel, or like there's a plot hole. Again, if I'm understanding this correctly, maybe I'm not. In other words, you make people think that the error is real. But if all you can do is see it, it's nothing more than an illusion. An illusion wasn't real, it didn't exist. That flower bed was an illusion, Ayase would be dead right now. They had survived because it wasn't an illusion, but a real flower bed. There are 3 numbers that can explain the entire way the world functions. 0, 1, and -1. The D sword is a shortcut to creating that -1. But you did what you did without a D sword. She was starting to go off the rails again. No, but what Senna was saying wasn't just some girl's crazy ramblings. The VR technology patent was real, at least. Maybe Senna knew something after all. Listen to me, don't make any more errors. I'm telling you this for your own good. And if you see any other errors, tell me. Her words sounded almost like a threat, and then she turned away. It must be so wonderful to believe in just things you can see. Senna whispered that, and then this time she left the park. There was a silence on the floor of AH Tokyo General Hospital where the psychiatric wards were located. The surgery and emergency wards were supposedly dealing with a rash of unexplainable comas that had started to occur after the earthquake. But the psych ward had nothing to do with any of that. If anything, they finished up their outpatient exams a little earlier than scheduled. A few days from now, they might have a flood of people experiencing PTSD from the quake, but for today at least, there was nothing left for the outpatient staff to do. Shino Husky, one of the nurses, had been working here since last night's night shift. And belatedly realized she'd barely taken a break the whole time. She was hungry too. The ward had lost one of its doctors the other day. He'd been murdered horribly in one of the New Gen incidents, and his replacement hadn't come yet, so there weren't enough people. But all that was left for the day were a few minor tasks. She could hand them over to the night staff, and she'd finally be able to go home. She slapped her cheeks with her hands, telling herself she just had to hang in there a little longer, and began to quickly walk across the lobby. Suddenly she felt a gaze from behind, a prickling at the back of her neck. She shivered. She spun around out of sheer reflex, but there was nothing there but a quiet, empty hallway. "Miss Nurse!" "Ah!" Husky was startled. The voice had come from completely the opposite direction he expected. She thought the lobby was empty, but there was one person left. He called out to her when he'd seen her. It was a man with a handsome, if still young, face. His pallor was healthy, and he certainly didn't look sick. Can I have a moment of your time?" "I guess. Thanks." The man gave an embarrassed smile and then suddenly grabbed her by the arm and pulled her from the lobby toward the stairs. The man, Mamoru Suwa, took out a small black book from his pocket and showed it to her. He flipped it open and showed her his police ID. He stopped next to the stairs and looked around carefully to make sure nobody was nearby. "So, what can I do for you?" She still had work to do and was feeling a little uneasy. Sua seemed to realize this, so without wasting any more time, he took a photo from his pocket and showed it to her. Do you recognize this boy? It was a photo of a listless-looking Takumi Nishijo. Because of the nature of her work, Hazuki prided herself on being good with faces, and she nodded without even really thinking about whether it was okay to answer or not. Takumi Nishijo, you're sure? Yes, but her hesitation was natural. Giving anyone, even the police, information about a patient was strictly against the rules. But of course, Sua had known that when he talked to her. His casual attitude suddenly vanished, and a serious look appeared on his face. He dropped his voice as he spoke. I need you to do me a favor. Can you show me Takumi Nishijo's medical records? Huh? I can't. No, that's impossible. It could be the key to cracking the case. Hazuki wasn't sure what to do. She turned to leave, but Sua got in front of her and blocked her. Please leave me alone. I'll make sure it doesn't get back to you, so please. Finally, he got on his knees and began to beg. Stop it, really, I can't. I need your help to make sure nobody else gets killed. What could she do to make him give up? Hazuki couldn't come up with anything, so she just stood there helplessly. After Senna left, I spent a while just standing there in shock, then quickly dashed back home. Fortunately, I didn't run into Shogun or Yua. In the end, I come back here without ever finding Rimi. After the earthquake and what had happened with Ayase, I was sure they'd send the students home early for the day. It was even possible Rimi might show up here soon. Till then, I just have to sit here quaking in fear, I guess. Decided I would take my mind off the fear by using my non-functional computer to gather information. Then I saw my phone where I left it next to my monitor. The light on it was flashing. Opened it and saw I received a message. I thought it might be from Rimi, but... Nana Iko Chu Como... Okay, it's his sister. Something amazing happened at school today. Somebody tried to jump off the roof. Was so shocked and scared, sob. I wonder if they're okay. Were you at school when it happened? The earthquake was really crazy, huh? My head really hurts. I wonder why. I guess to Nanami, nothing that had happened today was that big of a deal. Lucky her. Of course, I didn't answer. Cause you're a dick. I decided to look up anything I could find on Ayase. I still couldn't get to Phantasm's official homepage. The media didn't have anything to say about her either. To be fair, the earthquake was probably far bigger news than an attempted self-end by the vocalist of an indie band. Right now, I had no way of knowing she was okay. There was a lot more information about the earthquake published now the third ban when I looked last. The number of dead had climbed to 118, and there were over 300 injured too. I couldn't believe there was a 3-digit number of fatalities. The epicenter of the quake was Shibuya, and the damage was limited to Shibuya to an extent that was surprising. The quake itself was intensity 5. Okay, and this is where we'll end things for today. But before that, I have some comments to address. Even when both people in the couple are well-intentioned, the gap leads to a lot of problems due to the difference in experience. Maturity sometimes... due to difference in experience, maturity sometimes, and etc. Yeah, I agree. Welcome, oh, hi, Black Rock Shoot. But yeah, speaking of cosplay... Okay, I already agreed to that. We don't actually know that. In technical terms, all we know about reality is what our brain shows us, so there's no way of knowing. It's kind of addressed in Subahibi too. Not really. Sure, our senses can be showing us wrong information. We have things like, for example, how do I say that? Essentially cognition errors, right? Where your brain like is tricked into seeing something that's not actually happening. You know, like the classic example is the pencil. You can like shake by putting your by holding it with two fingers and then shaking it, and it looks like it's made of rubber now. You know. But in every version of our like senses lying to us, um, there is like an objective reality. Our senses are being tricked. Like maybe we're brains in a jar, or maybe like they are, like it's addressed in chaoshead, like illusions being sent and confusing like our perception. But the perception is always rooted on like there existing physical reality that we're observing. Like our perception of that physical reality may be skewed, maybe an illusion altogether, like with the brain in a jar example. But in all the visions, in all the versions of that, there's always an like physical reality that we're simply observing wrong, you know. That is my point. And in that observable and in that physical reality, if things work as like chaoshead says, then Ayase just died. Anyway, well, we can change single brains and bring things into real life. Again, this... Anyway, explain what a -1 is before you say you flipped the value. That was very confusing. They maybe not see the person holding the sword, but if they get hit by it, it's real damage. The person made their weapon real. Again, but this is not like what the visual novel is saying. Like, they aren't bringing... they can't alter people's perception and bring things into the real world. It's making it seem like they can only alter people's perception, you know? There are schizo theories out there that we humans are literal reality warpers IRL, and that the consensus of collective unconscious defines reality. Okay, if it's going through, like, if it's going by that interpretation, that could have some, weight. Like, that could make sense, if that's the interpretation they're going for. Because maybe everyone's a reality warper, so consensus defines reality, but then some people have a bit more of a weight on that consensus than others, and they can literally manifest things into reality by forcing them into the consensus. Like, it doesn't need to be a natural consensus, they can force something into the consensus. If that's how things work, if that's the interpretation going forward, then it makes sense. If not, then like this is a plot hole. Then there's the whole quantum observation mumbo jumbo and blah blah blah. No, but that's around observation literally affecting reality, because not because of simply it being observation, but because of the physical like impact that observation makes. Because to see something, we need to send light into it, and then that light needs to bounce off the object and come back to our eyes. Most things aren't relevantly affected by this process, but when we go very to a very small scale, even light can affect the physical reality. And so that's what that means. So like again, that doesn't explain anything, unless again we go by your like other theory that observation has much more drastic effects on like physical reality than just what I described. Then that makes more sense. Anyway, there are types of people with powers that can make delusional real in this. And then the 300 witch is making people see things not there. You have a certain brain devices to make the delusional real. So they literally are bringing things that are delusions into physical realities, not just altering perceptions. If that's true, then it's not a plot hole, but it's poorly explained. Only certain people can warp reality with certain brains in this universe, like Shogun, where he made the busy street empty. Then when he left, put it back to normal when he was done using his power. Okay, so what I'm getting is that there are two tiers of powers, right? People who can only affect perception and people who can actually affect reality, right? And if that's true, that makes a lot more sense, but it's poorly explained. So either there's a plot hole or simply poorly explained. Like, you may not see something attack you, but it's real when you start seeing the damage you take. Collective unconscious reality warping, aka me magic. Praise Keck. Pretty much, yeah. Remember, oh wait, this entire VN franchise is rooted on conspiracy theories. The only robotics notes isn't very focused on it. Again, I don't like I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying that I'm just trying to figure out which like specific, right, conspiracy theory is being used to explain this, you know? Why did so many people die from relatively weak earthquakes? Again, it's explained that it wasn't the earthquakes, it's the, like, wave of headaches that happened to people. Like, those had more, like, effects on some people than others. Like, some people just got a minor headache, some people like Takumi got a major headache, and some people straight up died. They didn't die from the earthquake, they died from, like, the wave of, like, essentially the psychic attack. Anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, poorly explained. You gotta look at all the hints the game gives you. Okay. So, let's save again. And now, we're going to be ending stream for today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for coming to the stream. And I do hope to see you tomorrow for hopefully a much better, like, what's the name? Little Witch Knob at the String. Much more smooth Little Witch Knob at the String. So yeah. For now, bye everyone.